What up? What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo J, and this is the Mo You Know. Torian got the jokes, talk about news anchor. Now, I've been following this hurricane since last week, and I've been telling people to watch out for it. Another one was coming, and last night it got upgraded to a category 5. Now, it's something about the weather that I don't know, man. There's three things in life that I love and I have an interest in: dinosaurs, history, and weather. I've been doing weather on this channel for a while. I've covered a couple of hurricanes. We did some hurricanes last year. Man, I don't know, man. It's just something about the weather. And I like, man, I be posting about hurricanes in the Discord. And I was like, man, this Hurricane Milton, this one looks interesting. Because this one's coming from the Gulf. So it's actually on the other side. You know what I mean? It isn't coming from the Atlantic Ocean. It's coming from the Gulf side. So I was like, damn, I haven't ever, well, I mean, I've seen hurricanes like that, but I haven't seen one like this. And only to find out that now they talking about this is a once in a lifetime. This is like one of the top 10 largest hurricanes ever recorded in human history. And is obviously the strongest one for 2024. So if you're in the Tampa area or hell, anywhere in Florida, man, I really hope you guys take caution and try to leave the area if possible. If not, I mean, border up. We're just gonna go through everything that they've been releasing, and I really do hope that everyone is safe throughout this. It's not the hurricane that gets people; it's the surge and everything that comes after the hurricane that actually terrorizes people. So we're just gonna go through this and see everything that they have, man. Kim said we're out here getting ready. A lot of people have left already. So when I woke up, well, I don't know. Dinosaurs, my favorite movie. Well, it's either one or two. It just depends on the day. But Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, that's like my favorite movie of all time. Because I was a kid and I got to go to the movies and see that. So I always thought Jurassic Park was like cool. I used to always go to dinosaur exhibitions. There was one out here in Frankfurt when I first got here. I went to it. Even as an adult, I still go check out dinosaurs. It's the weirdo side in me, but I like dinosaurs, but I also like weather. History is my go-to, but all of it goes together. You know, the dinosaurs are wiped away because of the weather, and that's our history. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. They saying that it's going to be catastrophic. Let me see. Just don't come to SC. I just got electricity back, and that I don't know what this is going to do. Now, I don't know if you guys heard. I'm gonna play the audio. But the mayor of Tampa Bay said, if you're in Tampa Bay after this hits, you're going to be unalived. So I thought that was very interesting because, I mean, of course, they're in Florida, so they get hit with hurricanes all the time. But for the mayor to actually say, nah, like, if you can leave, you need to leave. So we gonna see, man. What's going on, Dannon? And see, like South Carolina and North Carolina, the hurricane brings the wind. It might knock stuff over, but it's the flooding and the storm surge after that that's really the true testament of evil. But we're gonna go ahead and cover it. You know what I mean? Like I say, I ain't the smartest guy, but I've been following this since last week. I put it in the Discord. I said there's two more coming, and I said we're gonna be watching this Milton one. And sure enough, here we are. I actually seen some footage of Milton hitting Cancun this morning on the way to work when I heard about the mass evacuation in Tampa. So I'm gonna try to get all of that. I got some videos we are gonna play. We're gonna kind of do the history of hurricanes. Well, not the history, but like the elements behind the hurricane and how the weather needs to be perfect for these storms to go off, or as they would say, the perfect storm. So CNN does have some videos. Let me see. Here we go.
Hurricane Milton's strength and magnitude have left veteran meteorologists in shock.
Torian said that I watched the movie Twister. I'm from Kansas City. I lived through tornadoes. I remember there was a tornado. It had to be about 91 or 92 in Kansas City. And we had to get in the closet. I remember this was after my car wreck. We had to get in the closet, and it was my mother, my younger brother, and me in the closet. My dad, that's when I thought, like, that's when I was like, man, my dad's a superhero. Because my dad didn't get in the closet with us. My dad sat in front of the window, and he literally just sat there and looked out the window. All I remember is like my mom talking about, get in here, get in here. And it's just lightning and it's just going crazy outside raining. My dad didn't get in the closet with us. I don't know if he thought he was fucking Lieutenant Dane or what, but my dad watched the whole well, I don't know if he could see the tornado. As a kid, when I hear tornado watch and tornado warnings, I'm thinking the tornadoes are like right by us. But I don't, as an adult, we weren't close to we were close to the tornado, but it didn't hit like directly to us. We just got all the wind and the rain and shit. But I always thought that was cool that my dad was sitting in front of the window, like watching a tornado while we were in the closet. My mom was screaming. So, yeah, I watched Twister. And I realized real tornadoes don't growl at you. All you hear is shit hitting the house. You ain't gonna hear no growling, but they got a new Twister out. I think it's probably trash.
Including John Morales of Miami. Take a look.
Just an incredible, incredible, incredible hurricane. It has dropped. It has dropped 50 millibars.
So this meteorologist here, he's actually going to start crying because this is the biggest hurricane he's ever seen. He's like, this hurricane is about to be ridiculous.
In 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
Morales has guided South Florida through some of the state's strongest ever hurricanes, including Andrew, Irma, Matthew, and Maria. He later posted on social media, quote, "Extreme weather driven by global warming has changed me. Frankly, you should be shaken too and demand climate action now." Well, Florida's Gulf Coast is bracing for yet another major hurricane. But it's not just any storm, it's the strongest storm the world has seen so far this year. Hurricane Milton has weakened slightly to a Category 4 strength, but the storm's explosion in size and intensity has been staggering, jumping from a Category 1 all the way to Category 5 in just 24 hours. By the time it makes landfall sometime Wednesday, it should weaken to a Category 3. But that's little comfort for a state still reeling from Hurricane Helene less than 2 weeks ago. Officials are warning Milton's impact will be catastrophic. They're urging everyone in the storm's path to leave as soon as they can, and many have taken that message to heart. Florida's highways have been packed since early Monday. The mayor of Tampa issued a stark warning to those daring to stay behind.
Helene was a wake-up call. This is literally catastrophic. And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die. If this takes a jog to the south, that's going to save us from the storm surge, but it stays on the track that it's projected to be on right now, or if it goes a bit north, would be even worse. So this is something that I have never seen in my life. And I can tell you that anyone who was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area has never seen anything like this before. People need to get out.
Cheryl Hubbard has more on the urgent preparations being made as the hurricane approaches.
What up in there? Now, could you imagine? I don't know. You down there, and the mayor says, "Hey, you got to get out of here. If not, you're gonna die." That's wild to hear. Get out of there, or you're going to die. What up, OT? Like, when you really think about it, yeah, you get hurricanes and stuff. Like, even you look back at Katrina. Katrina was a bad hurricane, but it wasn't the hurricane that did the damage. Now, of course, people got their conspiracies about people breaking the levees and stuff, but that's where the damage came from, all the flooding. So that's what they say is going to go down to a Category 3, but the storm surge is what's going to flood all of Tampa. And if they're saying if you don't leave, you'll die, like, man, I pray y'all get out of there and get to safety. Listening to my lives ain't worth it, to be honest with you. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there.
In a routine that's become all too familiar, Florida residents are preparing. Some by filling
Chill, Erica.
some evacuating.
That wasn't a bomb threat. It was a possible explosion while they were trying to deactivate a World War II munition. Now, if the thing would have went off, I probably would have been fucked up. But I thugged it out for y'all, man. But like a hurricane, I can't swim, so I can't do that. I'll be all right if a bomb hits the building, but I can't swim, so I don't fuck around with the water.
All doing the best they can to prepare for yet another life-threatening storm. FEMA with a firm warning to those with evacuation orders.
They need to get out.
Some heeding the message. Florida highways were crammed Monday with what state officials expect could be the largest evacuation since 2017's Hurricane Irma. Milton threatened storm surge, rain, and flash flooding. But due to Hurricane Helene's devastation, there's another threat, the potential for flying debris.
We still have significant amount of debris cleanup to do across the barrier islands to make sure that that doesn't become projectiles in this coming hurricane.
Florida's governor has deployed the National Guard to help assist with debris removal that could cause more damage from Milton's forecasted winds, which got up to 180 miles per hour Monday. The storm is projected to weaken and make landfall as a Category 3 near the Tampa area on Wednesday, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Its dangerous I wall could come ashore anywhere from Cedar Key in the north to Naples in the south.
If they have called for your evacuation order, I beg you, I implore you to evacuate. Drowning deaths due to...
Look at this sucker back here. Now you hear everybody talking about, oh, FEMA ain't got no money. They only sent 750. They've been trying to call this goofy ass motherfucker right here. And then him and like 7 other goddamn Republicans denied the FEMA money to go to the state of Florida, just so they can complain about it during a political election and say, oh, well, you know, Kamala and them aren't sending any money. Y'all blocked it. So if y'all not getting any money, you know who to blame. Is these fools right here.
storm surge are 100% preventable if you leave.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Elliot Jacobson is a climate analyst and retired professor of math and computer science. He joins me now from Santa Barbara in California. Appreciate you being with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
So Hurricane Milton is barreling toward the Florida coast right now. It's one of the top 10 strongest hurricanes ever recorded, the planet's strongest storm this year, now a Category 5. And Milton comes on the heels of the deadly force of Hurricane Helene. Brazil's Amazon region is experiencing its worst drought in 122 years, and we're seeing extreme flooding in West and Central Africa. So how much of all this can be directly linked to climate change?
So there are attribution studies that can try and link any given event to climate change, but we don't want to just go around pointing fingers at events and saying that's climate change, that's climate change. What we know is that climate change is going to make all of these events happen more often. They'll be more intense when they happen, and they'll last longer. And that's what we see over and over. We see more of these extreme events happening, and that is the fingerprint of climate change.
So how should we be responding to this new normal created, for the most part, by climate change? What do we need to be doing right now?
Going
so
vegan.
It's a good question, especially your use of the phrase, the new normal. So what we need to understand is we're just passing through this moment. We don't have any idea of what a new normal will be or where we're headed. It has a lot to do with the sorts of decisions that are made right now, both locally, globally, and in every sort of political environment. So things will get a lot worse than they are now. They will continue to get worse for at least the next 30 to 50 years, pretty much no matter what we do. We have to be thinking of a future for our children and grandchildren right now with the decisions we make. So I just want to say that the new normal, unfortunately, is still a long way off.
Now, in Florida or in any of these regions, if you get hurricane insurance, does that cover, what's that just do, like wind? Or do you have to get flooding insurance also? Or does hurricane insurance like cover everything that could potentially come from a hurricane, like even if it's flood, like water damage? I always wondered that, because I know insurance companies are leaving the state of Florida just because of the hurricanes, and it's too much that they got to pay out. If anybody from Florida knows like what hurt, I'll look it up, see what State Farm got.
So how should nations rebuild after these extreme weather disasters? And also, how should they be building for the future to adjust to the new conditions created and being created by climate change?
Well, one thing to understand is that scientists really do have a good idea of certain parts of the planet that are going to become sort of inhospitable to civilization. And these include certain coastal regions that are going to flood, certain regions that are simply going to get too hot to sustain human life, and certain places that are expected to have massive droughts or massive flooding. So what we need to do is trust the scientists who are identifying these regions and understand that migration is going to be taking place on a global scale. And we have to understand that climate migration will be part of our future, and that allowing our fellow humans to find another home is part of our responsibility. So I think that's the number one thing we need to do, is understand that the climate is being degraded globally and everybody deserves a home.
And we do see this, don't we? Because in flood zones, in areas that are not really habitable anymore, people do just keep rebuilding and trying to live there. At what point, and what is the process of saying this is no longer a habitable region? People need to find an alternative. What is that process?
Well, I think, unfortunately, that humans are very stubborn about this, and we often hear the phrase, well, we're going to rebuild. And you just look at, for example, what's happening in Tampa. They just had a record-breaking 7-foot, well, if you like, 2-meter storm surge, right? That was the all-time record set just 10 days ago. And now we're expecting, with this new hurricane, double that to come into the same region. I mean, what's happening is that we're not going to be able to keep up with the ever-intensifying storms in these regions. So when you ask about what should we do to rebuild, it's not clear at all that we are going to be able to stay ahead of these storms or the rising sea level or the heat or all of these places. It's simply not going to be possible to and I mean, if you even look at what happened in North Carolina, right? One of the climate havens was Asheville. This was an area that was touted as a safe place to move if you were had a climate consciousness, and now that was essentially decimated. So I think we need to understand just how fragile this planet is right now, and that fragility is just going to be increasing.
There hasn't been any word. I'm gonna look up the FEMA and the insurance stuff after this video, but there hasn't been like any looting or anything in Carolina. It seems like everyone's really trying to get the town back together. So that's one good thing that I was looking at. Well, at least I haven't heard of anything. Maybe if y'all have, but any other time people be out there trying to, what I'm saying, scavenge and get some good product.
And in the midst of the hurricane crisis in Florida, far-right Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene doubled down on her conspiracy theory over the weekend, following up a baseless claim that the government can control the weather, with an assertion that such a scheme might involve lasers. So how do you combat the crazy out there when the world is already dealing with the reality of climate change, which is crazy in itself? And what do you say to climate deniers?
Well, I can just put out facts. I cannot fight delusions. I can't fight that sort of insanity. But I mean, just for example, to get a feeling for the scope of what that claim means. For example, Katrina, the power of Katrina was about the same as 3 million Hiroshima atomic bombs worth of energy, right, and worth of destruction. So when you think that we essentially can sort of pull out of somewhere the equivalent of millions of Hiroshima bombs, and direct that energy to create these events, it's so much beyond nonsense. I don't know how to describe the sort of lack of just basic fundamental understanding of the planet that sort of demonstration of illogic shows. I don't have a remedy for idiocy. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Well, appreciate you trying. Elliot Jacobson, thank you.
Come on, Marjorie, talk about they controlling the weather with damn lasers. Now they can't control like the rain and stuff, but that's rain seeding. That's different. You know what I mean? That's different. All right, we're gonna look up the FEMA insurance and just see what FEMA got to say about it. But man, damn, it's bad because we hear about these storms and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, like, you can get away, but at the same time, it's still nothing you can do about it, for the simple fact your house is still going to be there. It's like you can't save everything. And even if you do try to take your most important stuff, you still have to leave other stuff behind. Now, I mean, I didn't start it over, but that was because I wanted to. But to lose everything, and to hear if you stay in that area, shit, man. Nah, forget that. Where we at? Okay, hold on. So over on FEMA tells us to review your insurance. Standard insurance policies do not cover flooding, but flood insurance is available through the National Flood Insurance Program. So you'd have to get two of hurricane and flooding. Validity, robust, sufficient. Review your property insurance coverage for hurricane related hazards. Most property insurance covers wind related damages from hurricanes under the broader category of windstorm, geez Louise, wind coverage. Oh, it may be excluded if you live in, wind coverage may be excluded if you live in coastal high area risk. Oh, damn, they getting you on this kind of insurance. Most property insurance covers wind-related damages from hurricanes under a broader category of windstorm. Wind coverage may be excluded if you live in coastal area at high risk for tropical storm and hurricanes. Standard insurance policies do not cover flooding, including storm surge flooding. So these insurance policies don't cover a damn thing. It's like you got to get 4 different insurance just to cover your property. Purchase or renew a flood insurance policy. Flood insurance is available for homeowners, renters, and business owners through the National Flood Insurance Program. Flood Smart. Purchasing flood insurance provides financial protection for the cost of repairs due to flood damage. Reduce your insurance premium by retrofitting your home with to resist wind-related damage, and or by elevating your home to protect against flooding. Now, the only thing about elevating your home to protect against flooding, we're starting to see these floods are stronger and stronger than ever. They're washing the houses away that are elevated because they're just on the stilts. And these floods aren't like little 2-3 foot floods. They're rolling in 10, 15 feet deep. Let me see. I was trying to find an article on why the insurance companies are leaving Florida. I forgot it was like a case that they had. 2017 Supreme Court allows courts to award plaintiffs' attorneys 2.5 times their hourly billing rate. I don't know, 120%. Let me see. The area you lived in here in Georgia is a floodplain, and those are optional coverages. Oh, in Lithonia? Well, I lived on like the 3rd floor in Lithonia, so I mean, I don't think it will flood where I was at, but I just had regular homeowners for my apartment. Yeah, Evelyn, it looks like they talking about lift your house up to protect against flooding. Then you got to get flooding insurance. Then you got wind damage for your hurricane insurance, but that's called windstorm. But it's excluded if you live in coastal areas with high risk of tropical storms or hurricanes. Why? Like, let me ask this: why would I buy hurricane insurance if I didn't live in places hurricanes occur? I'm not buying hurricane insurance in Minnesota. Like, but if I buy hurricane insurance, some of it is excluded if you live in coastal areas at high risk of trouble. That's why I'm buying the insurance. I want the insurance because I know I live in this area and there's going to be potential high winds because of hurricanes. You can't exclude that from my damn insurance when that's what I'm buying the insurance for. That's some wild shit right there. You always got to read the fine print. Ensure you have adequate insurance coverage. Coverage for flood peril is almost universally excluded from the standard residential and commercial property insurance policies offered by private insurance and offered instead through the National Flood Insurance Program. Let me see what this is. Think if you're just a first-time homeowner, you're not going to know anything about this. Who knows about outside of today? Who knew about the National Flood Insurance Program? Food Smart. Did anyone know about other than people that lived in like Florida or anywhere that's potential flood? I never heard of a national. I didn't even know there was a national flood insurance program. What's up, Tamika? All right, so they got as Hurricane Milton is headed towards landfall, please ensure your relevant important documents are safe. Follow any evacuation or shelter warnings and be prepared to begin the claims process as soon as you can, and do so safely. Further details on FEMA operations can be found on the following links. Hurricane Helen, which was 2 weeks ago. If you have flood insurance from FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program and experienced flooding during Hurricane Helena, how do I start my claim? Click there to learn how to fill out your insurance claim. Damn, they gonna be back to back. Your real estate agent should inform you, but I mean, I don't know how it is now in Kansas City and in Virginia. There's some janky real estate agents. Like they might tell you, "Oh yeah, you need to get homeowners insurance," but they're not gonna go into detail. Like, "Hey, you need to get this, you need to get that." They'll just like, "Yeah, you need to get homeowner insurance," and that'll be it. Like I wouldn't even thought that there was a national flood insurance program. I thought you could get this through your regular insurance company. Yeah, homeowners exclude flood. Okay, here we go. And this is down in Miami, I think. Homeowners insurance policies exclude flood damage from coverage. Coverage is available through the National Flood Insurance Program, NIF. That's what we're going to call it, NIF. But many homeowners fail to purchase flood insurance. In hurricane-prone South Florida, for example, penetration of NIF flood insurance is only 34% in Miami-Dade County, 26% in Broward County, and 22% in Palm Beach County. In areas most affected by recent Category 4 hurricanes, Harvey, Irma, and Maria, as many as 80% of homeowners in Texas, 60% in Florida, and 99% in Puerto Rico, lacked flood insurance. Hey, man, we got to get our Puerto Ricans. We got to put them up on the game, man. Puerto Rico, NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program. We got to get our people up on that. They said 99% of Puerto Ricans didn't have flood insurance. Just 1 inch of water in a home can cost more than $25,000 in damage. So you got to think 25,000, well, no, 25,000, 50, 100. Sheesh. Well, I guess with the floor, because the floors will start rotting, then you had to get new carpet. Yeah, you'd have to redo all your floors, and then the baseboard, the walls will start to rot. They'll start to mold up. Yeah, that is a lot. Any electrical you got going through there? Oh, I could, 1 inch, 25,000. Yeah, damn. I ain't even think about it like that. 1 inch would be 25,000 in damage. If you live in a high risk area, your home is your home has 26% chance of being damaged by flooding during the course of a 30-year mortgage. So 30 years, 26, so 1/4 chance of being flooded in 30 years compared to a 10% chance of being damaged by house fire. Damn, so your house is more likely to flood than it is to catch on fire in 30 years, according to data. Property outside of high-risk flood areas. Property outside of high-risk flood areas is still. Hey, who wrote this? Property outside of high-risk flood areas is still, it should say are still, but is still at risk of flooding. On average, 40% of the National Flood Insurance Program flood insurance claims occur outside the high-risk areas. Many private insurers have dropped provision of wind coverage following the disastrous storms, and a number of states on the East and Gulf Coasts have implemented state-run wind insurance programs. These programs offer coverage for tropical windstorms damage for residents in coastal counties, but vary in funding sources, operation prices, and risk management strategies. Damn, the insurance companies, they want you to do everything. Consider discount. Oh, this will reduce your premium. Retrofit their homes, retwist rim-related damage. And some companies have established discount programs to reduce premiums or other types of financial incentives to reflect the risk and reduction for homes that have been properly retrofitted. Damn, you gotta do a lot of, man. I don't know if I can live down there. That's just one room, 25. Yeah. Jeez. I definitely didn't know nothing about no damn national flood insurance. National flood insurance. Let me see how we can start the claim. Let me see how in depth that is. Start a claim. Oh, this is kind of like signing up for your, if you're a veteran, if you go to the va.gov website, this is the same way it starts off on there. Oh, wait. To start your claim, you got to put in a call. I thought they were saying you can. So to start a claim, you got to report your loss immediately to get your insurance agent or carrier. Need help finding your insurance agent, carrier, call, blah, blah, blah. Prepare for the inspection. Once you file, the insurance company will assign an independent adjuster. But I don't think they're going to come out this week. I mean, they probably backdoored, but imagine trying to come out this week and another hurricane is hitting. Before the adjuster arrives, and as soon as possible after the flood, take photos and videos of your flood-related damage. This is especially true for any items that you need to discard. Hey, man, don't be trying to do no insurance fraud. Talking about, man, I had 4 PlayStation 5s in there. I had that computer I had. I got to inflate my costs just a little. I'm not saying that I commit insurance fraud, but my computer down here, I spent $4,500 on it, so I'm gonna need at least $3,500 for it. You know what I mean? All right, so the National Flood Insurance Program. And if you live in an older home, you have to have a policy that replaces like for like. Otherwise, you'll have IKEA stuff in your home. Oh, damn. So they ain't like for like. Let me see that. Let me see what the. Like for like figures compare sales, financial results, etc. in one period with those for the previous period, take into account exactly the same number of stores, business, etc. Used for describing something of the same value, quality, that replaces the loss. Hey, I'd be down if they didn't brought me some IKEA stuff over. You know what I'm saying? You didn't got some. I got some real wood in the house. I got a real wood bookshelf upstairs. They talking about, well, you know, we can get you an IKEA one for like $139.99. I gotta put that shit together. Hell no. Actually, let me see something.
And joining us now is FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. Administrator, thank you very much for coming in. You guys are so busy right now. You've Hurricane Milton bearing down. Less than 2 weeks ago, you had Hurricane Helene hit. How are you positioning staff and positioning resources for this while you're in the middle of still helping with the recovery from Helene in so many other states?
Good morning, Kate. I think the first thing is we have dealt with multiple significant events before. If we think back to 2017 with Harvey, Irma, Maria, or even 2020, where every state had a disaster declaration. And then we had significant hurricanes and the wildfire season. So we are prepared for this. We plan for this. I'm not saying it's not going to be a challenge, but I know that we are going to be able to meet everybody's immediate needs as Hurricane Milton comes in. We're pre-positioning resources like search and rescue teams, healthcare assessment teams, the Army Corps of Engineers for power assessment and generator support, and a lot of different resources to meet the immediate needs for the people in Florida, while also sustaining everything that we're doing, not just here in North Carolina, but all of the states that were impacted by Helene.
And that's reassuring to hear that you believe that the agency is staffed, has the ability to meet all the needs, the immediate needs, because New York Times is reporting that FEMA is dealing with a severe staffing shortage right now, given how many disasters that the agency is responding to. Some of what the Times wrote is just 9% of FEMA's personnel, or 1,217 people, were available to respond to the.
Just real quick, FEMA. If you need somebody, just put the call in after this weekend. After this weekend, I could be back in the States for 2 or 3 months. Now, I do got a hefty price tag of I can do about $50 an hour, and I can go out there and actually help you survey some of that. I was an emergency responder after the nuclear power plant in Japan went down. My supervisor went out there. So I do have a skill set of where I can go out there, and I could be an independent contractor for you all. Now I'm gonna charge about 50, but since it is a hazardous area, I'm gonna probably charge around $65 an hour, and I'll go out there for 2 months and help you guys out. So if you want to call me. You know what I mean? I'm readily available. I tell the boss I got to go back to the state. Duty calls. So FEMA, if you need some expertise, holla at your boy.
The hurricane or other disasters. To put it into context, they write, over the previous 5 years, 1/4 of the agency's staff was available for deployment at this point in the hurricane season, just 9% versus 1/4 of the staff. Does this staffing shortage hurt FEMA's ability to respond fully to Hurricane Milton?
I think the numbers that we're talking about there, Kate, are the incident management personnel that we have. We also have our steady state personnel. And again, one of the things that we always plan for is how do we tap into the full strength of FEMA, but also the full federal family. So a few of the things that we're doing is we are looking at all of our open longer term recovery offices and reassigning people to help support some of the immediate needs right now. We also can tap into what we call the DHS surge capacity, where we've got members from across the different agencies within the department that also come in and support us. We have these layers of staffing models because we know that we are going to have to face multiple events at once, just like this.
The rumors and misinformation swirling about FEMA can't be helping efforts right now. Some of it, like rumors that funds are being diverted or stolen to house migrants, which is a false rumor, has been pushed by former President Donald Trump. You have talked about this. FEMA's even launched a webpage to correct the record on the rumors that are swirling. But last night, Donald Trump continued promoting another false rumor about FEMA. Let me play this for you.
So we're into almost $300 billion for Ukraine, and yet they're offering people $750
for immediate needs.
For the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen. But more importantly than that is they don't have the people. They're not doing it. It's a very bad thing.
How would you do it differently?
I'd have a tremendous team of people here. They don't have any people here. The people are all, I was in North Carolina yesterday. I was in Georgia. And Georgia's different. You have a good governor. He's doing a very good job. But North Carolina is a disaster. And it was also hit very hard. But they don't have the people. And they're complaining there's no people around to help.
Can you respond to that, Administrator?
It's a fucking goofy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his accusations are just completely false. I think the first thing I would say is just because you don't see somebody on the ground in a FEMA shirt doesn't mean we don't have people there. We have people that are embedded in the State Emergency Operations Center. I have teams that are walking around neighborhoods. I have teams that are embedded with all of the county EOCs. People are on the ground, but we're also bringing in resources, and it's not just FEMA. We are one part of the federal family. We have over 3,400 members from across all federal agencies in North Carolina helping to support this response. We will continue to bring in more resources as we go into the recovery and the long-term needs that these communities have. Kate, we really have just got to stop this rhetoric, because what it's doing is it's putting fear in the people that we're not going to be there to help them. And I worry that they won't register for assistance with us and get access to the critical resources that they are eligible for. And so I really just appreciate all of your support and at CNN to help us, get the right story and the right message out there.
Because I mean this, false information when people are so desperate and in need is dangerous at the very least. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing signs that these rumors and the misinformation is taking hold, that it is becoming a problem and that people are grabbing onto it on the ground?
I think that there is some people that are making, these claims and believing this. But what I see on the ground actually is the majority of people, the local leaders, the sheriffs that are also helping to fight back on this narrative, letting people know that FEMA has been there with them. The federal government has been there with them side by side during the response and now the recovery. And they're the trusted leaders in that community. But I want to make sure that this has to stop, because if it continues, we will see more and more people not trusting their federal government to be able to give them what they need. And so I need people to register for assistance so I can get them the financial resources they need to support their recovery.
Yeah, they need the federal assistance in these disasters. You need them to trust that the federal government will be there. If that.
All right, so FEMA talking about, man, they got that damn
trust break.
False information being spread out here by old Donnie. Let me see, we got another one. But I'm trying to find
we're reaching out, offering our support. That's for the governor. The governor is up to him if he wants to respond to us or not. But
so, although FEMA, this is what Evelyn is talking about. Although FEMA might not have the money to make it through hurricane season, Biden and the federal government are trying to send money down to Florida. Now, the Republicans, DeSantis isn't answering his phone, and the Republicans have blocked the actual federal aid that will go down there to help out, since FEMA is short on money. So there is help trying to be sent down there, but you have to look at the governor of the state of Florida, who isn't answering the call, just so the Republicans can use this during the election. Oh, they're not helping out. The $750 that they sent to North Carolina isn't the money that they're only getting. That's just for the money right now for urgent needs, to get you some food, get you some water, so you can stay so you can survive. That's not all the money that they're going to be receiving. That's just the $750 that they got right now. It's not like they can go in there and just cut. You go back and think about the stimulus checks. It wasn't like they could just, we're going to give out stimulus and then the next day everyone got $1,200. No, it's going to take some time. But as of right now, there was an immediate $750 to help you for the moment. Is it a lot? No. But you think about it, you got 2 or 3 people in the household that get $750. For right now, that's enough to get you your food and get you water to stay afloat. Put it like that.
But what we're doing is we're working with state and local officials to make sure that we are pre-positioned, to make sure that we are ready to be there for the communities that are going to be impacted.
The White House said it's up to Governor Ron DeSantis to determine who he speaks to amid reports he's avoiding conversations with Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Reports say DeSantis is not taking calls from Harris about storm recovery efforts and has not spoken with Biden either. He has been in touch with Federal Emergency Management Director Deanne Criswell, however.
We invited the governor, right, to come and survey the damaged areas with the president. Obviously, we're in Florida. We invited the governor of Florida to come. It was his decision to not attend or not be there with the president.
White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre said that the Biden administration is ready to support the people of the Sunshine State in response to Helene and preparations for Hurricane Milton. Sources told NBC that the DeSantis camp believed Harris's calls were politically motivated.
Oh, shit, where is that? All right, so as I was saying, payments of $750. This is on USA Today. Payments of $750 are only part of the federal financial assistance after Helene. Now, this is only for right now. It says in October 2nd, Instagram post, direct link by conservative commentator Benny Johnson includes a clip of Vice President Kamala Harris talking about financial assistance for victims. Kamala just told Americans they will be receiving $750 to those who truly need it for hurricane relief. So I'm assuming that it's $750 to anybody that actually needs it. You probably just got to file it while you're there because it doesn't say to a household. But then, of course, Kamala just told Americans they will be receiving $750 to those who truly need it for hurricane relief. Reads on screen text, which is a screenshot of post on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter X, from Johnson. We can send billions to Ukraine, but Americans who have lost everything only get $750. The IG post was liked more than 80,000 times in 5 days. He shared over 30,000 times. The $750 payments are the initial support provided under a new FEMA program, not the sole financial assistance available. Applications can be made for multiple additional forms of financial support for those affected by the hurricane. So the $750 is just you going on there. They're going to send you the $750. Then you got to apply for the rest. It's not here's $750, have a good life. Funds are for immediate needs. And this is the hurricane that happened 2 weeks ago. And of course, we got a brace for this one. Hurricane Helene cut a path of destruction through Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, making landfall September 26th. The death toll surpassed 200 as of October 7th. That was yesterday. And losses attributable to the storm may exceed 30 billion. So the 750 is just temporary. It's just for right now. Damn. See, man, the flooding is the part that gets you. So they're still like, I mean, they're still building standing though. It's not like everything was wiped away. Damn road destruction. I wonder if they're gonna offer any cleanup. You guys remember when the oil spill happened down in the Gulf? They were offering like cleanup. You go down there, you making like $1,500, $2,000 a week to clean up the oil. I wonder if they're gonna offer anything like that. Hmm. But that's what the FEMA had in store. Then I got one more video. Let me see. Oh yeah. And then we're gonna go and try to see if we can find some footage from around different areas. I'm gonna see if I can find that Cancun one also while we're watching this.
Breaking news, a brand new forecast just in moments ago for Hurricane Milton, which is heading right towards Florida as an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane. Today, Milton became the strongest storm anywhere on the planet this year. Meteorologist Chad Myers is in CNN's hurricane headquarters. Chad, where is Milton set to make landfall, and what is your best assessment as to when?
You know, the models are really in very good agreement, and it's very, very close to what we would call the clear water area, anywhere from just north, let's call it, I don't want to call it Dunedin, but Pinellas County, maybe as far south as Anna Maria Island. But here's what happened at this hour. The 5 o'clock advisory is now in up to 180 miles per hour. Now, there is a Hurricane Hunter aircraft on the way to make sure, but it was 175 when they last left, and the storm hasn't lost any intensity. And in fact, it's forecast, Jake, to get to 185 after midnight tonight, and then make landfall either as a Category 4 or a Category 3 very close to Tampa. When Helene hit the area, I know it went north of there, but the surge in Tampa Bay was 6 to 7 feet. The forecast surge in Tampa itself is now 10 to 15 feet.
Damn.
I talked to a guy today that said, hey, man, I had 6 feet of water in my house. And I went, ugh, that's not good, because 6 is now going to be 10 or 15. So
it's going to double. The surge is going to double what Helene did. So 15, most houses, your ceiling is about 8 foot. Outside, the roof is probably about 9 to 10 foot, like on the side. So 10 to 15 is going to cover the houses on the surge. Now, I don't know what the coast of Tampa looks like and what people's houses look like in Tampa. That's something you don't even want to risk. You just gotta leave. 10 to 15 feet, that's, you know, that water about to be moving. They talking about it's 185 miles per hour down here, but when it hits landfall, 125. And that first surge ain't gonna be the bad part. It's gonna be the rest of it that's gonna come after the eye. So you're gonna have the first wind, then you're gonna have the eye where it calms down, where you can actually go outside, look around. But then the wind that's gonna come up on the back end, that's gonna be terrible.
that house may not be there anymore. Dude, this is really, really a deadly storm that people are going to need to get away. If your local county emergency manager says you need to evacuate, now is the time. Unlike the storm that kind of Ian that kind of turned into Fort Myers, we have time this time. You have time to find some place to shelter. And it is going to be one, obviously for the record books, but we've never had a stronger storm, obviously in the Gulf of Mexico in the past couple of decades. The last storm that made landfall close to Tampa was 102 years ago. The last major hurricane, didn't have a name, but that was 1921. This is a devastating event. People need to take precautions. You need to tell your relatives, hey, Uncle Joe, you need to get out of there. They told you to leave. It's time. You have to go somewhere. You don't have to go to North Carolina. You have to go somewhere away from that surge, away from that water, Jake.
So 102 years, The last time a significant hurricane directly hit Tampa, they didn't even have no name. I don't even remember when they started naming them. And you know the crazy thing? With all the technology and stuff we have now, and it's unfortunate what happened in Katrina, but that was kind of a learning experience for the people that were saying, "Oh no, we're not leaving. We'll be all right. We survived hurricanes before." But now with all this technology, it's better to just leave and not even risk it. So it was a learning experience from Hurricane Katrina. RIP to all of those that were lost. But at this point, you can't even risk it. I mean, even if that means you got to drive up north and sleep in your vehicle because you can't afford like a hotel or something, you just have to get out of here. I'm pretty sure most hotels and motels, if you leave, you go up north, they'll probably let you stay in there until after this pass. Or I'm sure they got some schools or some gyms. They'll say, "Hey, come up to this school. I know it's probably like 100 miles outside of Tampa, but you come up here, you can stay the night or stay 2 nights or something." But you can't risk being a hero talking about, "No, I'm gonna stay here, man. We be all right. It's not gonna be that bad." If you got a meteorologist on here saying, "Dude, that house ain't gonna be there," this is how you know it's serious.
All right, Chad Myers, thank you so much.
The race to get ready comes as many areas in the storm's path are still reeling from Hurricane Helene. CNN's Brian Todd is on the story.
In Pinellas Park, Florida, just across the bay from Tampa, residents use large pails to fill as many sandbags as they can. Hurricane Milton, which has already exploded into a Category 5 storm, could hit the Tampa Bay area directly. It would be the first major hurricane to strike within 50 miles of Tampa in more than 100 years. Some residents in at least 6 counties told to evacuate. In Hillsborough County, the evacuation order is mandatory in some places. That means authorities cannot force people from their homes, but
if you remain there, you could die. My men and women could die trying to rescue you.
what makes this especially dangerous in places like Tampa and Fort Myers is that those cities are still recovering from Hurricane Helene, which has killed more than 230 people in 6 states, with the death toll still rising. For those in the mandatory evacuation zones who decide to stay put, Florida officials have a dire warning.
You probably need to write your name and permanent marker on your arm so that people know who you are when they get to you afterwards. And we are still seeing, as we're uncovering folks on the beach who thought they could stay there, and the storm surge got them.
With Milton forecast to make landfall late Wednesday.
So you hear that? They said they're still discovering people on the beach that thought that they could stay there. So if you go back and you like watch old World War II documentaries, not even World War II, like even Vietnam more recently, that's what they do. They'll write your last name on your forehead. I mean, we have laundry marks and stuff also. So like inside of your jackets and stuff that you wear when you're in the military, it'll be your last initial, well, the first initial of your last name with like the last four of your social. We call that a laundry mark in the Air Force, but it's an identifier. Of course, you got your dog tags. But after you start identifying people, you either write their name on their arms if they perish, or like on their forehead, so you know who they are. Or if you're giving them blood, say if somebody was to get injured or something, you write their blood type on their forehead. Also, if you got to give them like an Atna or a catnip syringe, like say we're exposed to gas, you got to write the time down on their forehead so the next person to know, okay, it's been 20-30 minutes, I can give them the next one. But what they're saying here is, hey, if you're going to be around, put your name on your arm, because more than likely you're probably not going to survive this storm if you stay. So if they're saying this on the news, we got the mayor saying you're going to die. We got the chief of the rescue team saying we could potentially die trying to help you in this. Man, you can't risk it. So it's damn.
Decide to stay put, Florida officials have a dire warning.
You probably need to write your name and permanent marker on your arm so that people know who you are when they get to you afterwards. And we are still seeing, as we're uncovering folks on the beach who thought they could stay there, and the storm surge got them.
With Milton forecast to make landfall late Wednesday, Governor Ron DeSantis warns the window for evacuation is closing fast.
You have time to execute your plan, but you got to do it now. Time is going to start running out very, very soon.
Helene made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane that caused widespread damage, leaving tons of debris that still hasn't been cleared. Debris that residents worry could still harm people if it starts flying around when Milton hits.
The debris on the beach and whatever's going on is a little cause for concern because there is not enough time and not enough manpower to take everything and put it where it needs to be off the island.
The international airports in Tampa and Orlando closing ahead of the storm. Tolls are being suspended on major highways throughout western and central Florida to help those evacuating. Governor DeSantis says the assets that Florida lent to North Carolina for Hurricane Helene have had to be brought back to Florida. But North Carolina is still dealing with the horrific aftermath of Helene. More than 100,000 customers are still without power there. And around Asheville, dozens of people are still missing a week and a half after Helene tore through the area.
We're still working to reach communities. We still have search and rescue occurring as we speak.
And we have this information and video just into CNN. Hurricane Hunters has posted their latest video on X. This is video from the plane, the Hurricane Hunter flying through the eye of Hurricane Milton.
Oh, let me try to find their Instagram and see if they got anything new. Instagram, Noah, AA. HUR. Or is this on? No, this is on Twitter. And there's let me make sure I ain't got no filth on my damn Twitter search bar before I put it on the screen.
Milton, as it approaches the west coast of Florida, you can see the clouds swirling there. This is, of course, these Hurricane Hunter planes gather critical information. They're going to be gathering critical information in the next 48 hours before the storm makes landfall on the west coast of Florida. This is information that is going to be very critical in informing us as to when and where this is going to hit. Wolf, this video we're seeing for the first time. And the Hurricane Center says those pilots even spotted birds within the eye of the hurricane.
Vice President Harris is speaking now about Hurricane Milton, and she departs for New York. Let's listen in.
I know a lot of folks out there have survived these hurricanes before. This one is going to be very, very serious. And I urge you to please just grab whatever you need. Listen to the orders you're getting from your local officials. They know what they're telling you, and they know what Milton is about to be. So please do that. The other point I'd make is that there's a lot of mis and disinformation being pushed out there by the former president about what is available, in particular to the survivors of Helene. And first of all, it's extraordinarily.
And what they got this staff sergeant out there? Who is he saluting? She ain't even over unless Joe Biden's standing over here. That's why I'm glad I've been on Air Force one time, but it wasn't Air Force One at the time because the president wasn't on my base, so it was Air Force 2. But I did the water sampling on one of the planes though. I thought that was cool. So I went on Air Force One, even though it wasn't Air Force One, it was just Air Force 2 at the moment. But I went on there and did water sampling because whenever they fly, they take both of the planes and one is a decoy. So one to be at another base. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
Irresponsible. It's about him. It's not about you. And the reality is that FEMA has so many resources that are available to folks who desperately need them now, and resources that are about helping people get back on their feet and rebuild and have places to go. You are entitled to these resources. People are entitled to these resources, and it is critically important that people apply for the help that is there to support. That all of those resources were created for just these kinds of moments in an emergency situation, knowing that folks are entitled to have the relief that they so rightly need at this moment in time. So listen to your sheriffs around the places that have been impacted by Helene, listen to your local sheriff who's going to tell you straight about what's available to you and how, for so many reasons and ways, there are no conditions attached to the relief that's available to you.
President, Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish.
Why didn't they like, hey man, can we interview you a little bit further away from the damn jet? These fucking engines are loud, man. I mean, if you're trying to convey an important message, we need to be able to hear you, man. My ears is ringing, and my dog, the staff sergeant over there, just a saluting for no reason, and he looking off into the sun.
And it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that
How's
you
it going,
should
Miss
know
Derry?
to do, which is to put the people first.
Madam Vice President, Milton's arrival, what does it mean for resources?
All right, Vice President Harris speaking on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Back with our breaking news about Hurricane Milton, the strongest storm on the planet this year. It appears to be right now headed towards Florida's heavily populated west coast. And Milton is threatening to be the storm that meteorologists have been fearing for decades. I want to bring in Deanne Criswell. She's the administrator of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which has been working around the clock to try to help victims of the last hurricane. Helene. Deanne, thanks for joining us, Administrator Criswell. So first Hurricane Helene, now Milton. How is FEMA preparing for another potentially catastrophic storm, and do you have enough funds?
Yeah, Hurricane Milton is certainly going to be a historic event here in Florida. As we continue the initial response and recovery from Hurricane Helene, we do have staff on the ground that are prepared to pivot and help support this response. But we're moving more resources in. We're moving additional search and rescue resources in. We're moving health assessment teams in. We're moving the Army Corps of Engineers in. We're also moving management teams. And I'm here in Tampa right now, and I have a team embedded with the mayor's team so we can have that open line of communication to quickly employ people as soon as they're needed.
What do Floridians in the storm's path on the western coast of Florida need to know right now?
They need to get out. They absolutely need to listen to their local officials and evacuate. I was just with the police chief, the fire chief, and the mayor. They need to be leaving now if they're in one of the evacuation zones that they've designated. People should not focus just on the cone. They need to focus on the storm surge that is going to cover a wider area, and they need to get to safety. And this doesn't mean you have to go far. You just need to get to higher ground outside of that surge threat until the storm passes.
There were a lot of remote areas extremely hard to get to that were hit by Helene, particularly in the mountainous one road areas of western North Carolina. Have you and authorities, FEMA, North Carolina, have you reached all of the areas affected?
So we are in the communities across Western North Carolina. I have been with Governor Cooper for the last week and understanding and talking to the local officials about where their needs are, which is why we've surged in more resources. And they are going from the pods to people's doorsteps to make sure that they have the food and supplies. We are going to continue, Jake, to have that level of presence and sustain that operation, because we also know that they're going to be a long time before the water and the power is restored. We're going to have to continue bringing these resources in to everybody that's been impacted, especially in these more remote areas that have limited access.
Hey, real quick, what are the 5 things you're taking? Like, all right, you got to get out of here. Don't include like paperwork or like any documentation, like your passport or anything. We're just assuming you're going to take that because, I mean, that's like little stuff you could put in your pocket. So like no documentation, but what are 5 things you're taking outside of like your IDs, your personal stuff, like your IDs and your phone? Like what are 5 things you would take? like the most important things that you would take.
But have all of the remote areas been reached?
At this point, we have teams that are in every county that has been impacted. We've been working with the state to make sure we have not missed anybody. As I was with Governor Cooper this morning, we're getting positive news about progress being made. But we don't want to stop. We do want to make sure we have reached everybody. And so we're tracking that, and we're going to make sure that we continue to support the governor as long as he's needed.
I want to address the many rumors surrounding FEMA and the response to the storm. Former President Trump claimed FEMA has been running out of funds because the Biden administration diverted those funds to, quote, illegal migrants coming into the country. That's not true. Another one is that FEMA is only giving out $750 to each family. That's the extent of what American families are going to get, even while foreign aid goes to places like Lebanon and Ukraine. What's your response to these rumors, these attacks?
Yeah. Well, Jake, I'm glad that you brought it up because one, it's just categorically false. We have been there supporting Governor Cooper and everybody across Western North Carolina. We had teams on the ground before the storm made landfall in Western North Carolina, and we are continuing to support. Our funding has not been impacted by any of those other needs across, the federal government. It's dedicated to us, and I can assure you that no funding has been taken from the disaster relief funds.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Mike Boylan, now veteran storm chaser, runs the popular hurricane tracking website Mike's Weather Page, more than 1 million followers, and he joins me now from Clearwater, Tampa area, Florida. And Mike, I know your audio is good. Even if we lose your shot, I want viewers to know we can hear you. So I know you're surrounded by debris now from Hurricane Helene. You've got Milton coming, winds topping 180 miles an hour, even if it strikes at slightly weaker speeds than that. What stands out to you right now the most about a storm that has strengthened from a tropical storm to 180 miles an hour in a day?
Yeah, it's unprecedented. I mean, it's record-setting. Pressure is under 900 millibar now. Stands out for me is the direction coming west to east. That's very rare. And hitting almost the same spot that was just less than 2 weeks ago. And, my hometown here in Oldsmar, every street is lined up, and we just lost darkness, but it's like a war zone. And street after street after street is just everything. They're going to get double the surge that you got with Helene.
And we losing Mike.
Mike, I'm having a little trouble hearing you. I'm going to ask another question. I'll see if I can hear you answer. So if I interrupt you, it's because I can't fully hear you. But, how much of what we're seeing from what you see living there and having gone through so many storms in your lifetime and professionally, how much of this is just a terrible storm, unprecedented in some ways? How much of it do you believe is directly related to climate change?
But I do know the water temperatures is everything. I mean, these water temperatures are some of the hottest we've seen in over 10, 15 years. Below the surface water temperatures, ocean heat content, that's a big part of the fuel for hurricanes. And that is one of the major reasons. It's like we're getting warm for the storms in the Gulf of Mexico. And they just explosive. We saw last year, I was on your show with Lee. Luckily, that one didn't affect anybody, but the power that these things can go Category 5 is definitely part of this warm part of it.
Mike, I'm going to thank you here because I'm having trouble hearing you. I think I got the main part.
And they cutting my dog Mike off, man. Let me see what they're saying. Just have clothes for a few days, a bug out bag. If you have one, your firearms, sneakers are important, and the important documents. Yeah, I'm thinking if anything, because I keep a travel bag. I got a book bag that I got like all my equipment and stuff in that I always travel with. So that all I got to do is throw shit. I'd grab both of my hard drives because I got one that I travel with. It's like 5 terabytes. And then the one I use on a regular, I think is 1. Yeah, I think that one's a 1 terabyte. But I grabbed both of my hard drives, my laptop. Like I said, passport and all that stuff is automatic. I'm not going to count that. Probably my PlayStation, to be honest. Oh, my jewelry. But my jewelry will be in my bag. Yeah, that'd probably be it. Probably just a duffel bag with maybe I probably have like all sweatpants though. Sweatpants and a couple of pair of tennis shoes and probably my rain jacket. Or like my North Face. Hey man, don't try to stick around and if you can get with a neighbor or something and tell the neighbor, hey man, when y'all leave, man, I ain't got no vehicle. Let me roll with you. But I wouldn't even risk this. Hell no. I have an emergency backpack, meds, a water purifier. Oh, that would be good. I didn't even think about that. Having a mini purifier with you would definitely be good. Because with the power going out, the water could get cut off. Definitely the water purifier. I didn't even think about that. A lighter, flint in it. Okay. Also, if you don't have any flint, jeez Louise. Use the lint off of your socks. You can light that up. Gun, clothes, shoes, important documents, and laptop. Oddly enough, I went to Tampa after Katrina, and the Hillsborough River runs through the city. They all need to leave. Yeah, so I've never been to Tampa, so I don't even know how the layout of Tampa is. I've only been to Panama City, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. No, I didn't go to Orlando. Yeah, I don't even know what the geography of Tampa looks like. I know they said they got about 130 miles of coastline in Tampa. I'm gonna look that up after we finish this video.
About what you said, this is the warmest temperatures that you've seen in 15 years and deep down below the water as well. But thank you very much looking at that incredibly small eye, giving this storm such incredible power from the center, 180 miles an hour right now for sustained wind.
Just got word that President Biden and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke tonight about the preparations for Hurricane Milton. It's now packing sustained winds of 180 miles an hour with higher gusts and expected to hit Florida's west coast, possibly in the Tampa area. Officials are warning people not to take this one lightly. Milton is the strongest hurricane in the Gulf in nearly 20 years, the strongest storm so far this year anywhere on the planet. Making matters even more ominous, the storm is expected to hit an area still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene nearly 2 weeks ago. Joining us now is Sheila Alokasano, who lives in Longboat Key, Florida, Barrier Island near Sarasota. Her community was hard hit during Helene. Thank you so much for being with us. First of all, what's it been like trying to recover from Helene and now having to deal with this?
Helene was, it was a nightmare. I stayed, and nobody had any idea of the surge that we were going to encounter. And
shoot, that's like
the whole
4-foot water in there.
All the islands around us have struggled. The damage was terrible. Up and down Anna Maria, Longboat, Siesta, Lido. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, we're looking at some of your video, which I think is from a resort there. I mean, it just looks awful. And the storm surge for Milton is expected to be, I think, like twice as big.
I can't imagine it.
Are you going to get out?
I will be out of here by noon tomorrow. That's the deadline. It's not going to be easy to leave, but I am leaving.
That shows you how serious it is. She stayed for that first one, and then they talking about this one's going to be double. She said, "Oh no, I can't. If this happened off of 6-foot surges, man, they talking 10 to 15, basically double." She said, "I'm gone by." I think this is from because they said it's supposed to hit landfall Wednesday afternoon. So I think this was earlier this morning.
Do you know, I mean, are all your neighbors going to do the same?
Yes, this is the first storm that I can't find anybody that's staying, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Everybody is taking this very seriously. You saw the destruction you see it in the videos that we're facing.
I'm gonna look it up after this, Tori, and we're gonna see.
you just can't even imagine staying. Most places are just shells of themselves. People have been working really hard cleaning their places out, and the debris that's all up and down the island, all the islands, is just unimaginable.
What's the recovery been like? I mean, do you hear from authorities? Do you have resources available to you?
Oh my goodness, Longboat has been just outstanding. They've been giving away water and mop buckets and tarps, and different businesses are doing lunches for people, and it's a wonderful small town community, and it's the same for all the barrier islands. Everybody comes together. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And I didn't give you the video, but the sand dunes that are up and down the main thoroughfares of all these communities, the sand dunes are higher, 6, 8 feet, 10 feet high.
You know, I can hear just the emotion in your voice and just how difficult this is. Is that both based on what you've seen already and just the idea of leaving again?
Well, I've never been to the point where I'm literally looking at every item in our home and deciding, do I take it or do I leave it? And the thought of it just floating in the water somewhere.
That's exactly what we were just talking about. Like, what would you actually take? Since it's just me, I don't have like any baby pictures or anything. I'd have to take my 4 cell phones, because I got like all my old photos and everything on that. Take my desktop, leave the monitors, take this microphone, of course. Take my internet box, some clothes, my PlayStation 5, and that's pretty much it. Everything else I can get rid of. Like this printer, it can be floating wherever it wants to. These TVs, they can go wherever they need to.
It's really hard to bear.
How much, have you decided what to take? I mean, obviously I photographs, things like that, but I mean, making those choices,
Yes. I'm taking my clothes, and my pickleball paddle.
Well, Sheila, I appreciate you talking to us. I'm so sorry for what you're going through, and I wish you the best, and we'll continue to check in with you.
Back-to-back storms.
As this thing
Thank you
develops.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting out there. There's just, after this, so many communities are going to be in such need.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what 48 hours is going to bring.
Yeah. Well, we wish you the best, and we'll check in with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As we mentioned earlier, a whole lot of people are getting out of harm's way and evacuating Florida's west coast, as you see plenty of traffic on the interstate around Tampa. Joining us right now is Chief Barbara Tripp at Tampa's Fire Rescue. Chief, I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are.
What up, Chief?
You're still dealing with stuff from Helene. How much more dangerous does that make the threat of Hurricane Milton now?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having us. And it's actually definitely a threat with this magnitude of this storm. Tampa, the Tampa Bay area is definitely going to feel Hurricane Milton. We are just trying to get over as far as to clean up with a lot of the debris and a lot of devastation that a lot of families held. And we're still in the cleanup process. And with this storm and with all of the wind and the damage, we're just trying to make it as safe as possible for the community to be able to deal with Milton.
How are evacuation efforts going? What are you most concerned about right now?
I can say the evacuation is going, I hate to say going great, but which is good because law enforcement is going door to door in a lot of the evacuation areas, which evacuation A and B has been declared by the county, and we adhere to those ordinances as well. So with that being said,
Look at this. This is the side of the building. What did this catch on fire? Must have had like an electrical fire.
interstates, of course, is definitely packed with everyone heading, east or north. And it's been great. People are definitely listening this time. That was one of the biggest concerns because when we evacuated with Hurricane Helene, a lot of the residents did not leave their residence. And then we had to do a lot of rescue those residents, which put our first responders in danger.
So you feel like most people are heeding this. What is your message to the people at Tampa tonight?
My message to people of Tampa is to continue to heed to the local instructions and laws as far as have many shelters that are open, and we're welcoming all families, friends, pets to come to a safe haven place. We know materialistic stuff, some things can be replaced and some things can't, but most important, your life cannot be replaced. And you can't challenge yourself with Mother Nature because she definitely will always win. So we want everyone to definitely, hide from the winds and run from the rain. And of course, with this particular storm here, we're expected to have a lot of rain and wind, which is going to be very damaging to the city of Tampa.
Chief Barbara Tripp, Tampa's Fire Rescue, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Damn. Well, you heard that lady. She said she stayed through that first one. She said, "Oh, I'm not doing it twice." So at least they got the shelters. Now Torian was asking, will it wipe Tampa off the map? I don't think it's going to wipe it off the map, but I was trying to see. Let me see if they got a larger picture. All right, so this is from yesterday. Is Milton's storm surge forecast for Tampa's Bay worse than Helene's? A catastrophic storm surge is expected. Rising levels up to 12 feet above ground. So let me see. Can I open this and open image in a new tab? So they say directly at Tampa it should be between 10 and 12 feet. Now I don't know. I don't know what the coastline of Tampa looks like. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's got like hotels and stuff on it, but let me try to find. Images. Yeah, I can see it pushing. A large red tide bloom is worsening waters. When is this? Man, what the hell? Yeah, see, I don't even know what Tampa Bay looks like to even see. Like, I know Florida is flat, but let me see. They got any videos of it? Where to live near the beach in Tampa. Let me see what his video says. Where to live.
You're not From a great morning run to an incredible Gulf sunset, there's just something about the beach that can absolutely change the way.
Who is this? Where to live? Living in Tampa, Florida. Okay, Clearwater Beach. Is this off of Tampa? Oh, okay. So Tampa, the city is actually in the actual bay. So Clearwater, all of this right here, this little peninsula, St. Petersburg, this might all be flooded. They're saying 10 to 12 feet. This whole peninsula might be flooded. And then from the bay, I'm pretty sure inside of Tampa, it might not be that big of a surge right here in this bay part, but the old Tampa Bay, if the water does push over this, here's what the shortest part right here across. I think 10-foot water can definitely make it across this whole thing. It's flat mo, but the river runs through it. Well, whoever's over in here in Clearwater, y'all need to go right now. Let me see what he's saying.
Way that you live. And in today's video, we're going to talk about it. And as a matter of fact, this very beach, a little over 5.5 years ago, is the reason that my wife.
Yeah. 10-foot water is going all the way across this. All of this is probably going to be gone. Yeah, this is, I think this is Clearwater that he's talking about.
Kate and I decided to pack up our family of 5, sell almost everything we own, and travel 1,200 miles south here to the Tampa Bay area.
All right, so let's take you to one of America's most popular beaches first. Let's start in Clearwater Beach. And this beach is no stranger to visitors, has approximately 4.5 million people who come and take it.
Oh, yeah. 10, 12 feet. That's probably like to this top part right here on this pink building. Yeah, all of this right here is probably going to be underwater. Damn.
You know, along with the beach.
Yeah, all this is done. So this greenhouse is that looks about like 10 feet, like where this green part, this roof is. So if it does hit like the minimum of 10 foot, this whole house would be covered. 10 to 12 feet, but they said 10 to 15.
Front living, condo living, you know, with all the amenities you could ever ask for as well. Now, what does it cost to buy a home in Clearwater Beach? Well, that's a different conversation. The average single family home that is sold in
all of this, your boats, they about to be gone. So they spending for a 3-bedroom, 1.7. Oh, hell no. Too much money. Let's go to St. Pete Beach. Let me see where St. Pete Beach is.
Clearwater Beach over the last.
St. Pete Beach. Okay, so this is St. Pete, Clearwater. Okay, so St. Pete is down here. Yeah, all of this is probably going to be underwater too. Damn. So the water is right here. Oh man, yeah, these houses right here in Coquina Cove. Was this a mobile home park? Yeah, mobile home. Damn. This is right by the water too. So that's all that's protecting them is this is the coastline over here. Oh yeah, that water's going straight through and it's going to take over all of this. Damn.
30 days was a 2,189. It is in another area that just has so much to offer. There are single family homes and condos, just like we discussed before, bars, restaurants, shops, local shops that I'm a huge fan of. It captured us. We had to have during that, but it is and enjoy what the Gulf Coast has to offer. Indian Rocks is outstanding.
Indian Rocks. I think I've seen that one too. Indian Rocks. Oh, that's right over where we were at, wasn't it? Oh, Indian Rocks Beach is up here. Indian Rocks Cafe. Yeah, this ain't looking good at all, man. Because all that water ain't going to do nothing but push into the bay. And once all the water comes in from the bay, the eye of the storm is going to get there. It's going to calm down, but all the water that been pushed into the bay. And then that next wind is just going to come kick it up and take it out of the bay into Tampa. I don't know, man. What river is it? You talking about? Well, it's what, 2 rivers here? There's a river here and then Hillsborough River. Okay, that's what you were talking about, the Hillsborough River. What's going on, Miss J? So the Hillsborough River, and then what is this? Is this a river or this is like a canal? So the Tampa Bypass Canal, that's probably gonna fill up too. Damn. So this is what the NOAA looks like over on Instagram. This is the Helene storm before and after. So this is what the flooding did to this. So it looks like it's just a little bitty river right here. But then when it flooded, it goes all the way over to the building. Damn. Damn, it moved look, it moved all of this, all these little ports. It's gonna move it all the way over into the middle of the water. Yeah, see, it's saying Tampa's gonna be 10 to 15 feet. Sheesh. So you'd at least have to get like maybe up to Jacksonville if you want to get away from it. I mean, you'll still get like the tail end of it, but man, and they saying the surge is gonna be all through the bay.
Five words you pronounce wrong. Two.
Let me see something.
To 888-777. You'll get real-time updates with factual information. Hate to break it to you, but a lot of what you see on social media is not factual. Stick with the facts. For those alerts in Spanish, text 888.
So we got the chief up here, we got a brother up here. But that's what I was gonna say also, Derek. So this is just a prediction of what they're saying. Just because they say it might be a category 3 when it hits land, we don't know. It could still pick up and either stay a 4 or go back to a 5 before it hits land. So this is just some calculations that they got. But she said if it goes a little bit north, it's going to be worse. If it goes a little bit south, it'll be a little bit better. But if it continues where it is, they're calling that catastrophic. But if it goes a little north, they say it's going to be even worse. So, I mean, of course, we don't know for sure where it's going to go because it can always turn. But as of right now, they're saying it's going to be pretty damn bad.
$777 to Tampa Lista to 888-777. So now this will be a first in a press conference dealing with a hurricane, but the next speaker up and the most important person of the hour and an individual who has been doing an amazing job is the director of our solid waste, Larry Washington.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I truly appreciate the kind words. First and foremost, thank you, City of Tampa, for your patience. There's a lot of debris out there, whether it's household debris or it's vegetative debris. There's a lot of debris there, and it's been a full court press on debris cleanup. And that's not just the solid waste department, that's citywide. We have contractors in place right now, and we're still currently collecting debris. Our primary focus is the household debris. So if you have vegetative debris, please try to store it in some type of garage, bring it into some type of shelter so then we can try to weather out Hurricane Milton. Since September 29th, we have been actively collecting debris. Now, currently we have collected 26,000 cubic yards of debris, and we store these at our debris management sites. We have one in South Tampa, and we have one over next to the port as well. So, for those of you that have the ability to bring your debris to the transfer station, please do so. I was there this morning, and we only had a line of 4 or 5 people. So with all of those households with debris curbside, if you have the ability, bring it on to us. But if you don't, then we're still trying to collect your debris. So roughly, as of now, we received roughly 500 ready individuals bringing their waste to our transfer stations. So that's 500 people that have been proactive with bringing their waste over. Now that equates to roughly 400,000 pounds of debris from our residents alone. So great job there. In addition, if you are trying to utilize our transfer station, we've heard your concerns about the process. So if you have an ID, a City of Tampa ID, and you receive some type of solid waste service, please come to the front, to our scale house, and we will process you. We are no longer requiring any water bill or a bill of that nature. In addition, so we are still actively collecting garbage and recycling. Yesterday, we ran routes, and today we will run routes until we are complete. After that, we go into emergency response mode. Now, please stay patient with us while we continue to collect. We're going to end collection for debris at 7 a.m. So that's 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. We don't want to sacrifice service over safety, so we have to end it there. But thank you again, Mayor. We are trying to actively collect all the debris that's curbside, but if we do not get to you, we will definitely respond after Hurricane Milton. So thank you again.
Thank you, Larry. And
Yeah, and usually those dump sites, when I told you guys about the story, I was working with my dad, that's where they used to go to the little dump site in Kansas City. But of course, you got to show that you're a resident, but you can offload like all your debris, any sticks, brush, logs, anything like that. But that's what they're doing. And they said they got 400,000 pounds already just from the 29th. So they working. They're trying to clean it up. But the main thing is they're trying to get rid of this debris so it doesn't fly around and it knock everything down. I mean, because you got all this loose stuff that's already been broken up, and that'll be the worst part. These things, shit, man, logs going through your house, knocking over things.
as he said, all hands on deck. It wasn't just the solid waste. We have parks and recreation, we have mobility, we have water, wastewater, a lot of private entities that we did emergency contracts with. So, doing everything that we can. I believe it takes 3 weeks to a month.
Hey, yo, hey, like not being funny, but NL, once you point that out, watch what she gonna do some shit, some wild shit. I mean, I don't know if it's like real sign language or not, but it would look kind of she like, like what does that mean? Can anyone interpret that for me? Watch this. Just watch her closely.
Private entities that we did emergency contracts
Here it
with.
comes.
So, doing everything that we can. I believe it takes 3 weeks to a month to clean up after one of these storms, such as Helene, and they've done the vast majority of it in a week. And so they've really done a great job. Next, we have our fire chief, Barbara Tripp.
Barbara's back.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, we just want to thank the community. Thank you for listening to the local officials when it comes to evacuation. Want to thank everyone who has take heed to this evacuation policy. We want everyone to be safe out there and want to continue to follow the news and get continued updates through our social media as well as the different information that's been given to you all. We cannot stress enough when the situations get to a point that we will not be able to respond. The first responders are here for you, but we need you to help us. Please do not stay in those disaster areas because it will be very difficult for us to respond once the winds get a certain speed. With that being said, the mayor talked about as far as receiving a lot of resources throughout from the state and local. I can attest to that. We have received multiple strike teams here to assist Tampa Fire Rescue. We are in communication with the National Guards as well. So we are definitely prepared for whatever Milton is going to bring us, but we want everyone to be safe with that. As we continue to collaborate with all of the local and stakeholders, as she spoke of with Tampa General, we are here to assist, but we need you guys to take heed. The city of Tampa has also opened up the downtown garages to take your vehicles. We continue to talk about electrical vehicles, and as far as hoverboards, scooters, all of that lithium-ion batteries, you need to make sure that it does not mix with water. We ask you to take heed to all of the services, take your vehicles to higher grounds so they will be taken care of. With that being said, we know with this storm, it's going to produce a lot of wind, rain, which cause power lines to go down. Please take precautions when you're approaching any line. Assume that that power line is live. Call 911 so we'll be able to assist. With that being said, the power lines,
Man, what the audio go down? They didn't turn the chief off?
will cause some serious danger if you touch it, including up to death.
Damn, they don't want us to hear how it go. Oh well. I thought they was gonna have a little more footage on there. But we're gonna go back to Noah real quick. This is how you should prepare for the storm, they say.
Put generators into service.
Man, what?
We continue to tell you to make sure those generators are operated in a well-ventilated area, not inside your home or garage. Make sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions when it comes to that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, text to 888-777 Tampa Ready.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on right now. Shit's all over the place. I don't know, man. I do want to see. Let me see. Hurricane live look.
I'm only laughing because we have such tremendous.
Palmetto to Ruskin to South Tampa to Davis.
All right, here we go. Now they're giving us some more valuable information here. This is what I've been trying to find. Something of the nature that shows us what it's going to look like once it gets to Tampa. Well, from their predictions.
11 o'clock advisory is in. I will be monitoring, of course, your comments with hashtag HeyJB and hashtag HeyEric. Let's send things over to meteorologist Eric Stone for the latest on the 11 o'clock advisory. And Eric, the new track has just dropped.
So now the storm.
See, as we were just talking about, this is probably like 30 minutes ago. There's a new track that they have. So it's going to be moving and changing throughout the week. But they said tomorrow night is when it should be touching down in Tampa. So, like you said, that lady even said the deadline was try to get out of there by noon tomorrow, the latest.
has strengthened a bit. It's 150 miles per hour. We did expect slight strengthening. The storm underwent an eye replacement cycle. And again, that usually means it does weaken a bit and then it strengthens a bit. But it will be encountering some wind shear. So let's show you the new cone here, in fact. And you know what? This didn't change all that much, but it did change a lot from yesterday. Yesterday, the cone was right through Tampa Bay and even slightly to the north through about St. Pete Beach. If that scenario does happen, we would have a lot of storm surge pushed into Tampa Bay, right? But if this scenario happens, where I think it's going to continue to push to the south, and that would bode a lot better for us, then water would be taken out of Tampa Bay, and so many more homes would not be as severely impacted as if this track was slightly to the north. So again, it is expected to be a major hurricane still at 8 o'clock Wednesday evening, and the times just keep pushing later and later for landfall. So we're looking at landfall now sometime between midnight and maybe 2 a.m. Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. And then once it makes its way into Central Florida, pretty close to Orlando, look at that. It's still a Category 2 storm at 100 miles per hour. Space Coast dealing with a near Category 2 storm right around the Cape Canaveral, Titusville area. And again, this cone is very key. As you can see, it's right around Anna Maria Island. And again, if this continues to move to the south, then we are going to be spared 10 to 15 foot of storm surge here in Tampa Bay. I tell you, this track is huge, and the trends have been going south, even the GFS model. So with that, let's tell you what is steering this. The jet stream is picking this up and eventually moving this straight to the northeast. Still moving east-northeast.
And we'll get all of this rain that's going to be here Thursday. It's supposed to rain in London. I think Sunday is supposed to rain. So over here in Germany, like Monday, Tuesday is when we'll start to get the rest of the rain from everything that came out of this hurricane over here in Europe.
Right around 10 miles per hour. But once this jet continues to lift this northward, we'll see that northeasterly motion, and then we'll see whether this comes closer to Tampa, closer to Sarasota, or even closer to Fort Myers by Wednesday. So again, the model plots, the average is still, the consensus models, right over Tampa Bay. But if you look, there's only a couple of models to the north and a lot of models to the south. Look at this. From Tampa Bay all the way into southern Sarasota County, that is where the most amount of models are clustered, right? So I do think this average will go slightly to the south with the 12Z model runs, which come out in just a couple of hours. Boy, that, again, is so much better for us in regards to storm surge, as we will have the water being pushed out of the bay. I like to show the latest models here. The GFS, that is the big one. That was way up near the Nature Coast the other day. Yesterday, it was Pasco County. Remember? Today, look at this. It's pretty much right along National Hurricane Center's track. Wow, what a shift to the south.
Who y'all think got the more accurate one? The European one, the American, the Canadian, the German? European AI. The Canadians are way down here. I don't know if we can trust the Canadians. If everybody else is up here and the Canadians are way down here, it's either the Canadians are way off or they are actually spot on. We haven't really had any storms over here. I mean, you might get like a windstorm. We had an ice storm last year when I first got here, but you get like a mini tornado or something, but nothing serious. We just get all the extra stuff that comes from like the United States, like all that weather.
South.
Eric, may I hop in here for a second?
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I'm seeing these 5 primary models. Why is the NHC's track more to really the north in line with the GFS, and we have other model runs that are going to the south?
Because the consensus, JB, which are the black models, the consensus are pretty much right over Tampa Bay. But if you look to the south, there's a lot more model activity south of Tampa Bay. And I do notice that National Hurricane Center tends to wait a little bit to see if the trend continues, JB. So if the 12Z runs come out in the next couple of hours and they do continue to track southward, then I wouldn't be surprised, JB, if we did see that trend a little bit further to the south. But if you look at the GFS, the Icon, and the Euro, they're very, very close to Manatee County, okay? So the track isn't that much further to the north of the Icon, which is the German model, and the European model. The European AI and the Canadian model are through Sarasota County. So again, still early, but let's wait and see. The next track update will come at 5 o'clock, but I'm liking the trend. Usually we see the trend of the models first, and then the track will move. So we'll see the models coming out in the next couple of hours, what we call the 12Z models, which are the morning/early afternoon runs, and we will see if this trend continues. I do think it will. As far as GFS and Euro, very much in agreement through.
All right, that's pretty much it on that. All right, we got it. Let me see. So I'm trying to find some footage of like
What's interesting about Gainesville, and Darlene knows this,
people on the ground. Let me see.
Gainesville is used to handling it.
See what Tampa look like right now. Let me see. That's what I was just watching. See what he got to talk about.
I haven't paid a single dollar for TV since May. Let me show you how I found.
Oh man, he getting free TV. Ain't nothing like it. Imagine not having this type of warning 100 years ago. Hell, they didn't have this type of warning when Katrina went on. Just think 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you may have heard, oh, a hurricane is coming, but all right, well, we're going to go back to work if you aren't in the affected areas. But now you hear it and it's like, oh, shit. These are like some of the biggest hurricanes we've ever seen. And then it's just with media, social media, it's just everything is just so fast paced. That's why I even say with like when it drops videos, if I'm gonna subscribe to a YouTube channel, I want to see something like every single day. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I am. I want to see something new every day. The YouTube is my news. You know, I go on here and I try to figure stuff out, but you definitely wouldn't have had these kind of warnings. Even if you think about when the tsunami happened in Southeast Asia on Christmas, like there weren't even any warnings about that. And that was what, 15 years ago? Yeah, like 15 years ago. If they would have just had a warning about that, they would have known to clear the beaches. But you know, they always say like technology, computers and stuff is bad, is rotting your brain. But man, we need all of this stuff, man. It's actually helping us survive and move forward. Let me see what he got to say real quick.
Into a closer view. This is today, Tuesday, live, 1 p.m. I know it's 1:33, but rock with me here. So 1 o'clock, we're still seeing some showers, maybe trying to build into our viewing area. Nothing catastrophic or anything worrisome. We could see some lingering showers, especially down towards the southern half of the peninsula as we start to feel the outer periphery of Milton. But then watch this, and I want you to pay attention to something. So obviously, you know, garden variety showers, some heavier rainfall mixed in there, and then it clears out as we go through the overnight hours of tonight and into tomorrow morning, very early morning. Notice down there in Southwest Florida, we're starting to see the bona fide feeder bands of Milton. That is actually Milton. This here was more or less precursor. Once again, all that stuff, you could say it's in association with Milton, but it is not fully feeder banding from Milton quite yet. We're almost there. So as we go through time, sorry, I'm looking at a message coming through. I will go ahead and address a question that was relayed directly to me. Let me go ahead and come back over to the screen here. So I want you guys to watch what happens with the colors here. And this is what's pivotal and why it is that we're evaluating what the tornado risk is for our viewing area. Because watch what happens here as the system rolls and you see all that yellow. You see how there's like haze over the simulated reflectivity or the future radar. That there is potential spin in our thunderstorms. And notice if I go ahead and turn us, let me go ahead and flip the model here. Let me go ahead and put this in timeout.
Potential tornado
turn
tomorrow.
this off really fast. If I can. There we go. Okay. So notice all those little individual bean-looking things to the south of Kissimmee, rocking on up towards Bradenton, Sarasota, Punta Gorda, Fort Myers, everywhere in southwest Florida. Look at that. We need to watch that very closely. Down here, we have to watch near Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, any kind of extra oomph that the Gulf Stream on the East Coast may do to these little embedded isolated storms. These are possible supercells. Let's go back in time just a little bit more. Here we go. This is a much better example. So look at these little bean-shaped things. These little by themselves, they're called discrete cells. These here are where we could possibly see some tornadoes. This one particularly looks like it has some really good spin with it. This one here just to the west of Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce. So everybody in the state of Florida will need to be watching as Milton spins in for some precursor supercellular activity. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull something else up while we're sitting still. You go and pull up our high-res internal forecast model. And I want to show you, let's see if we have it here. I might have to use a different model. Stand by. I'll use the dew points. The dew point, nope, that's not going to do it. Let me try relative humidity. Nope, that's not going to do it either. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear that out 1 second.
Come on, Kevin, get it right.
I'm not going to add that in. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change us to the GFS. Go to GFS high res, and then I will show you the precipitable water. Let me see, maybe not the precipitable water. What's a good model overlay on here?
We don't know.
That will show you guys why it is that we do believe there could be a greater tornado risk. You know what? We're just going to rock with the GFS because if you notice what happens on the south side of Milton, if you look on the East Coast and south of our viewing area based on the GFS, notice how we have some shades of purple right over Deltona, Orange County, Orlando, Tampa, Bradenton. But just to the south, we have what looks like a decrease in those moisture, those water values. Let me go ahead and delete the high-res precipitable water. See here how in our future radar, there's a giant gap. Looks like no rainfall at all to the south of Milton. That could be problematic for some of our discrete cells, the thunderstorms that are by themselves. Right there, there's a band here from Palm Bay through Port St. Lucie, moving towards Delray Beach, Fort Lauderdale tomorrow night. We have another round of a thin band of discrete cells through Cape Coral, Tampa, Bradenton. They will have already been encountered that. And if I go ahead and bring back our helicity model, go ahead and touch here so it updates. There you go. Look at all the possible spin, the updrafts that could be spinning as these systems roll through. So we got to be careful when we announce things like someone in the chat did earlier saying no tornado outbreak, no tornado risk. There's definitely going to be tornado warnings out there. How many of them are quickly confirmed in the midst of Milton remains to be seen, but we need to be on our toes for the potential for some actual tornado activity.
Man, that's a lot. So even if you think you good from the hurricane side, they saying over here by Delray Beach, Port St. Lucie, Palm Bay, it might be tornadoes over there. It's about to be a wild 48 hours. Like his model shows it going directly over Tampa, like north of what we were watching on the other channel. I mean, of course, no one knows for sure. I just hope everybody can get to a safe location, man. And did you hear the mayor? They were saying, or no, it may have been the chief. Any of your scooters or anything, they want you to take them down to the garage because I don't know if you guys seen that Tesla catch on fire because of the damn batteries. I ain't even think about that. If you got multiple cars, you'd have to move all of those. Shit, I'd have to leave I'll probably leave the Camaro and take my Cutlass, put that on the trailer. Yeah, I'd have to leave the Camaro.
And actually, you know what? What I'll do this one better. I have the HRRR here. Before we transition to what I have up next for you guys. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and switch on over to our models. We have all the latest hurricane data in. We definitely have it fully populated now. Let's wipe on over. Bam. So we've come on over to Tropical Tidbits, and we are looking at our Hurricane Analysis Forecast System, or HAFS, for those of you who like acronyms. I don't know if anybody out there watching right now, cheers if so, are any veterans or current service members, but you know, in the military, we love our acronyms. So this is definitely familiar territory. So this is going to be our HAFS A for 12Z. This is this afternoon's model update. Came out brand spanking new at 12 p.m. local time. You can see that if we go back to the beginning, whereabouts we sit now, this is 15Z, 11 o'clock local time. This is 2 o'clock local time. We're coming up on that right now. HAFS A is thinking a central pressure of 937 millibars, which is a strengthening category 4. I think this model might be underselling it because we're already stronger than that, which is not a good sign. But if you take it through time, we are expecting strengthening on approach to Central Florida before we start to see that dry air. See how the reflectivities, the green down towards the south of it, starts to wipe away? That should be that dry air getting into the system. I've switched over to the relative humidity. See,
I ain't gonna lie, this gentleman is very, very technical. I'm trying to follow along, but I'm confused. Because he's talking about right now, the numbers are saying is like it's not as strong, but he's like, nah, but it really has been already gotten a little stronger. I don't know, man. I really don't even know what to think about this. Part of me is like, man, we're about to witness history, 100 years, because we just did a hurricane last year. That was the largest hurricane, or like one of the biggest hurricanes in the last 100 years. Damn, I guess this global warming is paying a. Sheesh.
the Browns.
Stop letting them increase your rates. I used to let them raise my car insurance every year.
Hey man, we ain't worried about no damn car wash. Get back to what we was talking about.
Where this thing comes ashore is really going to dictate how much rain you get, because then we can track it real time from there. Come on over to HAFS B. HAFS B is the sister or the twin model to the HAFS A. The HAFS B has been initializing a lot better than the HAFS A. If you look, we're at 926 millibars in the center. That is a little bit more realistic to where we are right now. We know that we're deepening below 930. We're probably in the mid 920s now. So HAFS B looks to be handling what's happening as we speak in real life a lot better than our HAFS A counterpart. Steph Mates over on the YouTube chat. She is asking, I'm pretty sure that is one of our team members' spouses there. How will this be like Ian in Orlando? So it won't fully be like Ian in terms of very, very heavy rainfall and long duration rainfall. This will be moving a little bit faster than Ian did, and it will not carry with it the amount of water that Hurricane Ian brought. A big difference to Ian is, I would honestly argue, you want to compare the wind and the potential damage to that of Charlie. Back in 2004, if you're familiar with Charlie. Charlie came through very fast. We didn't have as much flooding, but we had a lot of wind damage. There was wind damage and power outages left and right. We were without power down in Kissimmee for about 5 days before things were finally restored. Lots of more damage there than we saw with Ian. So Ian, you could kind of say, you know, there's a little bit of a comparison to be drawn with some of the areas that will receive flooding. That more so is thanks to all the rain we've had up to this point before Milton kicks on through our area. But we will see a lot more wind impacts in areas that may not have felt it during Ian. I have a friend who lives in Winter Haven. What does their impact look like?
So he's saying this one's gonna be more of a, what's the name? Which one was I just looking? Oh, here we go. I mean, I don't know, guys. What RC saying? Didn't DeSantis say something about not accepting calls? Yeah, they actually vetoed federal assistance to come down there. Let me see if I can bring that up. All right, full list of Republicans who voted against FEMA funding before Helene hit. So there was money that was going to be designated to go down here. And of course, right now, the big story that you're hearing is, oh, FEMA's running out of money. They're sending all this money over to the Ukraine. They're not worried about the people here. They're only getting $750. So the same people complaining about that, let's go ahead and get the real deal here. Hurricane Helene went towards Florida Panhandle, numerous Republicans voted against extending funding for Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, remember, they keep crying that FEMA's out of money. Well, last week, Congress approved $20 billion for FEMA's disaster relief fund as part of the stopgap spending bill to fund government through December 20th. But the measure left out billions of dollars in requested supplemental disaster funding. The Senate approved the measure by a 78-18 vote on September 25th after it passed the House in a 341-82 vote. Republicans supplied no votes in both chambers. So the Republicans weren't voting. The Republicans, they just like, fuck it. Let's not vote on it because there's an election coming up. And what we can say is, oh, Biden and Kamala, they sending all this money to the Ukraine, but they're not worried about us. But there was $20 billion that was approved. Let's continue on. Republicans supplied no votes in both chambers. Some of the Republicans who voted against the bill represent the states that have been hit hard by Helene, including Florida Representative Matt Gaetz. Helene hit Florida as a Category 4 last Thursday before plowing through several other states in the Southeast. The devastation could cost up to $160 billion. Some Republicans rallied against FEMA funding being allocated for assisting migrants after Homeland Security. Alejandro Marcos told reporters on Wednesday that FEMA will run out of money before the hurricane season is over with. The agency is facing a multi-billion-dollar deficit. Now, was the monies being spent for migrants? No, it wasn't. We are meeting with the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane to hit. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season. President Joe Biden said on Monday he may call Congress back into session during a break to pass emergency supplemental funding, as some lawmakers from states hit by Helene have urged. Now, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, he said that FEMA funding, including the stopgap spending bill approved last week, is sufficient and that there is no need for lawmakers to return early. The only problem is they voted against it. Below of all the GOP lawmakers that voted against the bill: Indiana, Ohio, Indiana. How is Florida going to vote against it when they need the money? There go two Floridas right there. North Carolina, they need the money. Florida again. Georgia. Florida again. Oh, this is Byron Donald. This coon. There's a lot of people that voted against it, ain't it? Let's see who voted against it in the Senate. Hell, there's a lot of people in the Senate that voted against it too. So what would be the point of saying that the funding from FEMA is going to the migrants, but when they pass a $20 billion emergency funding for the constituents, they say, nah, we're going to vote against it. Like, what is the point of all of this? But you'll never get all the information. You'll just hear one side, and you'll hear, oh, FEMA's ran out of money. The president and vice president aren't doing anything. They've been in office for so long, but in reality, they are doing something. It's just you don't ever hear that the other side is blocking everything that they're trying to do. So you'll see it. You'll see it in the comments too. Oh, they sent Kamala down there for a political reason. Like, whether it's political or not, she went down there and she's trying to push the $20 billion. Everything is political. Everything you do is for your own personal gain at some point. Yes, she's running for that, but it's no different than Donald Trump lying and saying that all this money is going to the migrants. That's for him to get elected. But they only look at it from one point of view. I mean, I personally, I don't care who you vote for, to be honest with you. But if you don't vote, don't come to me complaining about nothing, because I'm gonna ask you if you voted or not. If you told me you didn't vote, then I don't give a damn what you got to say about either one of the candidates. But if you did vote, then hey, we can have that conversation because you actually took the time out to go and vote. But if you didn't vote, I ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say about either side, because you had a chance to voice your opinion and you turned it down. So I don't want to hear your opinion. Yeah, they're gonna have to somehow flip Florida, which I doubt they ever will. Yeah, so there's the truth about what's going on. Yeah, FEMA doesn't have the money, but Biden authorized $20 billion, but they declined it. I did my absentee voting, so I already mailed mine in. So I mailed mine in. Let me see if there's anything else. Campaign, hurricane.
Coming up, President Biden has an update on Hurricane Milton preparations. He also talks about the ongoing response efforts to Hurricane Helene.
Thanks for your patience. As you know, I put out a statement this morning. I'm canceling my trip to Germany and Africa. We're going to try to work those out later, but I just don't think I can be out of the country at this time. Number one. And number two, we're going to stay focused on what's ahead of us right now. I've been briefed by senior leaders of this administration, and we're driving up preparedness for Hurricane Milton, which could be one of the worst storms in 100 years in Florida, and continued efforts on Hurricane Helene. I've directed this team to do everything it can to save lives in our communities, help our communities before, during, and after these extreme weather events, and that's being done. I've spoken to all political leaders in the region, some of them more than once, and I've told them anything they ask for, they can get. We've given, and we've got an overwhelming response, a positive response from everyone from the governors of Florida up to North Carolina. And mayors, leaders, local have expressed their sincere gratitude for the work of FEMA and for the work of my entire administration. Now, I've also surged thousands of federal personnel on the ground across the southeast already and deliver every available resource as fast as possible. And my priority is to increase the size and presence of our effort. And as we prepare for another catastrophic storm about to make landfall, you know, I've been in constant contact with our director of the National Weather Service, Ken Graham, who's kept me informed the last several days what to anticipate. You never know until it happens, but he's very, very engaged. He made clear to me just how dangerous this storm is, indicating that winds had reached up to 180 miles an hour. 180, that's not guaranteed it's going to hit the shore at 180 miles, but they've reached up to 180 miles an hour. And a possible storm surge as it hits the coast of Florida of 15 feet, which can be devastating. The current path of the storm is expected Tampa Bay area and cut directly across the state, east to west, all the way across the state, with the potential for this storm to both enter Florida as a hurricane and leave Florida as a hurricane on the Atlantic coast.
Then they saying it's powerful enough to go across Florida, and still, I know somebody mentioned it probably going to be a tropical storm, but they saying it might stay a hurricane all the way across the whole state. You know how powerful that is? If it goes across the whole state as a hurricane, it stays a hurricane. Golly.
It could be the worst storm to hit Florida in over a century. And God willing, it won't be, but that's what it's looking like right now. Immediately approved the pre-landfall emergency declarations in Florida. It's the second one in a week, second time in a week, and there have been two before that, by the way. I sent FEMA Administrator Criswell down to Florida yesterday to work intensively with the state and local partners as we prepare to deploy more resources. She can continue that work between Florida and North Carolina in the coming days. I'm calling on the airlines and other companies to provide much service as possible to accommodate evacuations and not to engage in price gouging, to just do it on the level. And last night I spoke again with the governor of Florida, DeSantis, and Tampa Mayor Castro, Castor. And I made it clear to them they should reach out, including to me directly, with everything else they may need as they see this storm hits. I gave them my personal number to contact me here in the White House. Most importantly, I've urged everyone currently located in Hurricane Milton's path to listen to local officials and follow safety instructions. You all have been reporting on the highways, shoulders being opened, everybody's heading out. And if you're under evacuation orders, you should evacuate now. You should have already evacuated. It's a matter of life and death, and that's not hyperbole. It's a matter of life and death. So let me add that FEMA has provided 300 ambulances to move people who can't move themselves out of healthcare facilities. And while we prepare for Hurricane Milton, we're still surging resources in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee to respond to Hurricane Helene. And it's real. The impact is still there.
Just for perspective, 10 to 15 feet. Okay, you think it's 10 to 15 feet. That's how I just looked up what the tsunami in Thailand was. They said it was up to 100 feet. Now, of course, a tsunami is going to bring in way bigger waves than what a tornado, not a tornado, but a hurricane would bring in. But still, 10 feet is crazy. And we see what it did to North Carolina. So if this is one of the strongest and it's a hurricane all the way through and through and hits directly on Tampa, man, it's probably going to be at least to the middle, because we're going into the winter. Now, I know down in Florida, it don't get that cold. I mean, it gets cold, but it's not going to like get to freezing or anything. But still, this is going to hit first week of October. Probably the water succeeds, maybe a week and a half, maybe. Then going in and trying to get everything fixed. Man, Tampa's going to be out of commission for a while if this hits directly.
And we're going to leave, we're not going to leave until the job is done. It's going to take time. And before it's over, it's going to take tens of billions of dollars to get it done. And Kamala and I are keeping all of you in our prayers out there. There's a lot of people. The good news is, just before we called you in, I received information that the number of missing persons has been significantly reduced, lost from the first hurricane. But we'll have more information on that later. So that's the situation, and we're not going to leave till the job is finished. It's going to take a while.
Sir, what's the risk of political figures sharing misinformation during this time?
The past prologue is real, but the fact of the matter is, I think we have. I've been able to contact all the governors. They are sticking up for what they've asked for. They're pointing out that they're satisfied with everything they're getting. But I can't speak for others on the internet. And I mean, just look, those who do it to try to damage the administration. Well, we can take care of ourselves. But it misleads people. It puts people in circumstances where they panic, where they really, really, really worry. They think we're not being taken care of. And it really is, it's going to sound, I use an old phrase, it's un-American. It really is. People are scared to death. People know their lives are at stake. All that they've worked for, all that they own, all that they value. And it's just, anyway.
Mr. President, can you give us a sense of how...
Yeah. And nigga Joe said, I'm tired of talking about this. Anyway, what's up? What's next?
Thank you, guys. Can you give us a sense of Vice President Harris's role in this?
Wait. I'll have plenty of time to talk about Angola. I still plan on going to Africa. I'll have plenty of time to talk about what's going on in Latin America and South America in terms of the Amazon. And I'm going to be talking today with my friend, the Chancellor of Germany, and we're going to try to work that out. We've already contacted all these people, okay? But I'm going to be on the phone today. I'm heading shortly when I get up from here. I'm heading out to Wisconsin, to Milwaukee, and
they about to do. I think they got 10 years in. Is it in Milwaukee or is it in Indiana? Or maybe Michigan. I think it might be Indiana. He's putting 10 years that they got to get the pipes fixed, all the lead pipes fixed. They got like 10 years to do it, or they're gonna start hitting them with fines up there.
But I think we can. I'm still planning on visiting all the places I said I'd be and all the conferences I said I'd participate in.
As far as everything you'd like to do.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
And thank you for your time. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Over. Thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you, folks. Thanks, press. Thank you.
Look at Joe. Joe ain't trying to hear all that shit, man. Joe was supposed to go to Africa, Angola. He's supposed to come over to Germany and visit the chancellor. But he got real work to do here in the States. Good old Joe. Yeah, DeSantis, he got to cooperate with the president. He want that election. He want to make it back down there. See, one thing about the Republicans, they might vote against shit, but they know when they need to get right because, hey, these people live down here, man. They got a lot of money invested, and they know that this, you know what I'm saying? They probably don't have, like, they're going to lose a lot of shit down here. Tampa is a nice area. So it's like, okay, we do need that assistant, because even though they vote for you, it's like if you don't do anything, they're gonna be like, oh hell no, next time it come around. You remember when he fucked up all our houses? And they'll do it out of spite. But yeah, he's cooperating, but everyone else, see, he's cooperating, but when we went over the veto list, you see who isn't cooperating is everyone else. So he's at least putting up that front because they know that they need to do it, but they vote against the 20 billion in funding to go down there so they can use this for the political side as far as Donald Trump. But remember, DeSantis and Trump, they were going at it, and DeSantis was throwing shots at Trump while they was trying to get the primary. You know what I mean? So DeSantis, he really don't fuck around with Trump. He does what he got to do, but he ain't as dumb as we think he is. He just be acting like it when he needs to, when it benefits him. But you see right now, he's trying to get that shit together because he's like, dog, there's about to be a lot of money lost with 2 back-to-back hurricanes. He's looking for as much money as he can while all his constituents, they like, nah. What up, Kendall? Yeah, so you gotta. It's the same with the food in Texas. What's the dude name? Ted Cruz. Like, don't get me wrong, when they had that storm and shit, and Ted Cruz, oh, we were going, yeah, he does some shady shit. But when it's like, he know when he got to do right. These motherfuckers be playing dumb like this, man. Like, they know right from wrong. They just decide to do wrong until you start slapping them slapping them with jail time. That's when they start acting right. When you start seeing that pocket getting hit, they start acting right. What up, Kendall? What up? Let me see if we got something else. I want to see some on the ground footage from Tampa. If I lived in Tampa, I'd be on the ground right now in the streets getting some footage. Let me see something. Good old Sleepy Joe. Let's see.
So we are watching our video monitors right now out of the state of Florida. A monster hurricane has tens of thousands of people on the run. Those people in at least 9 counties under mandatory evacuation orders right now. They want to get out, but there's news breaking right now that getting out is not easy. Tampa's airport has suspended operations at this hour. Milton's path is expected to bring life-threatening conditions to parts of Florida by tomorrow at this very same time. You can see right there, it's a monster. It's arriving, and put this into perspective, less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene hit the same Florida coastline. In that case, Helene was deadly, killed 230. President Joe Biden has canceled his trip to Germany and Africa to stay at the White House to monitor the hurricane response where Milton is barreling in. Here's what he had to say about those preparations moments ago.
That's what we just.
This could be the worst storm to hit Florida in over a century. And God willing, it won't be, but that's what it's looking like right now. Immediately approved the pre-landfall emergency declarations in Florida. It's a second one in a week, second time in a week, and there have been 2 before that, by the way. I sent FEMA Administrator Criswell down to Florida yesterday to work intensively with the state and local partners as we prepare to deploy more resources. She's going to continue that work between Florida and North Carolina in the coming days. I'm calling on the airlines and other companies to provide as much service as possible to accommodate evacuations and not to engage in price gouging. Most importantly, I've urged everyone currently located in Hurricane Milton's path to listen to local officials and follow safety instructions. You all have been reporting on the highways, shoulders being opened, everybody's heading out. And if you're under evacuation orders, you should evacuate now. You should have already evacuated. It's a matter of life and death, and that's not hyperbole. It's a matter of life and death. So let me add that FEMA has provided 300 ambulances to move people who can't move themselves out of healthcare facilities. And while we prepare for Hurricane Milton,
the job is going to be a big one for sure. And to that point, look at this. Beds for emergency workers set up inside a stadium, cot after cot, just 12 inches from each other throughout that entire floor of the stadium. This is in St. Petersburg. It's added now to a base camp for 10,000 emergency responders set up at Tropicana Field. By the way, that's the home of the Tampa Bay Rays. Jess, we're getting a masterclass.
They're about to have 10,000 responders sleeping in here. Golly. 12 inches apart, 10,000 people. This is dedication right here, man. Like, all jokes aside, this is dedication right here for them to come out here. And I'm sure a lot of these are volunteers. For them to put their life aside, come in here and sleep next to 9,999 strangers to go help people, you got to commend them. Like, that's serious there. I commend them.
Right now, an American emergency response before tragedy hits.
And it really is impressive. Right now, the National Weather Service has issued tropical storm warnings, hurricane warnings, storm surge warnings, and flood warnings for all of our communities throughout Florida's coastline as we head into the coming days. Right now, we're gearing up for those light showers to turn into heavy showers, to turn into one of the worst events, actually the worst event that we've seen in Tampa Bay history in over 100 years. All these advisories issued not only on the Tampa side, but as well as the Atlantic side, these have a cost with them too. Take a look behind me. This storm is strong and it's expected to hit them.
Hey, this layout that they got here in the studio, this is nice. Where's this at, CBS? I like this. We got the floor display. Then we got the whole wall display. Oh, this is nice. Here's a nice setup.
Tampa Bay area at around a Category 3 as we head into the overnight hours Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Current conditions right now sitting at 153 miles per hour. If it were to hit 157, it would be back into the Category 5. It's just north of the Yucatan Peninsula, the eye, sitting about 80 miles north of inland areas. Now, as we head all the way into the coming days, this Category 4 storm turns into a Category 3 just before it hits inland, close to Tampa, into the overnight hours on Wednesday, early morning hours Thursday. This is an overnight storm. It's going to be pitch black as this makes its way just into the Tampa Bay. Waking up early morning hours on Thursday, that's when it's now over Orlando, heading over into Daytona Beach, where it's still holding it at Category 2 at that point. Those max sustained winds are going to be impressive as it sweeps throughout the peninsula. And with the winds, we also have to continue to keep a close eye on storm surge. From the Keys up into the Tampa Bay area, we can see anywhere up to around 12 feet of storm surge in these local communities. That includes St. Petersburg all the way over into Sarasota and everywhere in between. Now, we're also starting to keep a close eye on the east coast of Florida. And the reason why I say that is because as it holds that strength from a Category 2 over into those shorelines, we're expecting some strong winds and heavy storm surge into those early morning hours on Thursday.
This right here just show you the difference between leaders. Whether you like them or not, I'm going to show you the difference between sitting down and having a press conference and canceling your world tour of meeting with other world leaders. This is the difference between the two. And this is who they want back in office. That's what some people do when hurricanes happen.
Thursday could impact many beach communities along that shore.
What part of Florida is Mozzie? I didn't even know Mozzie was in Florida, to be honest with you. I don't know. I really don't. The only person I only know where like 3 people live. Unless you live in Detroit, then I only know like 3 people live. Like my boy Torian on the East Coast, my dog Eric, a Midwest boy. Of course, my girl Tamika. That's my New York analyst right there, on ground expert.
Too. As we take a look at wind gusts, this is into the evening hours Wednesday, just ahead of the hurricane impacting the Tampa Bay area. Watch what happens as we head into those Thursday morning hours. About 100-mile-per-hour winds expected at times close to our coastline near Longboat Key. This storm will sweep over Ruskin. It'll break just into the around a 9-mile-per-hour wind gust as that eye sweeps throughout that community and back into gusty conditions heading into those early morning hours. I'll have more on the wind gust. I'll have more on the storm surge coming up in just a bit. But for now, over to you, Reed.
Nobody watching it like our CBS crews watching it as it makes its way to the Florida coast. CBS News' Tom Hansen in Arcadia, about 2 hours south of Tampa, where the efforts to get out continue.
Hey there. Well, I'm standing in Arcadia, Florida, which is a little bit more inland than those coastal communities, which are really going to see a lot of the immediate impacts of this monster storm. Standing at DeSoto Middle School. It's not going to be a middle school for very long, though, because this is going to be turned into a shelter for people who have nowhere else to go. You know, one thing about this area, there are a lot of low-lying homes. There are a lot of mobile homes, people who will not be able to escape once the time comes where the storm has arrived. One of the main concerns here, this low-lying area, flooding. This ground is saturated from storm after storm, rain system after rain system. We spoke to a county official earlier. She tells me that this is eerily reminiscent of Hurricane Ian, which gave some serious catastrophic conditions to this area as well. You can see behind me, Red Cross has already started to get into place. They are going to start setting up. They're anticipating up to 300 people who are going to come to this middle school for power and shelter. One person has already arrived. He spoke to my producer saying that he has a CPAP machine. He needs electricity. That is going to be a huge concern here. As you know, Central Florida, there are a lot of trees. There is a heavy tree canopy in certain parts.
We got number 2 and number 3. They trying to get them a good little spot. Especially if we sleeping in the gym, I got to sleep on the stage. I can't be sleeping down on the floor.
Flying debris will inevitably hit power lines and knock out power. We've seen it time and time again during this hurricane season where thousands and thousands of people, if not more than 1 million people, without power, especially after Helene. That's going to be a huge concern here. But right now it is wait and see as those critical hours inch nearer and nearer to the landfall of this storm. We are going to see a much more active situation at this middle school behind me. Back to you.
Now, all I see on YouTube is coverage of Hurricane Milton. Wasn't nobody covering hurricanes last year, except for me, the hurricane hunter. Oh, damn. How can every time I click that motherfucker? So this is Milton hitting the Yucatan Peninsula earlier today. Now this is as it was a 5 though. Yeah, this is what I seen this morning. This is the first thing I seen this morning about it when it hit Cancun. Now, like I said, my brother was in a hurricane. He was in the first one. That was a damn, what was that hurricane called? And his flight got delayed for 2 days, so he was stuck in Cancun, him and his wife. So he did declare a state of emergency for 54 counties. You see, they took all the water off the thing, but they didn't take none of the expensive water. They left the expensive water up there. People still shopping on a budget, though. I don't blame them. They got these gallons down here. That core water ain't that good anyway, but this smart water is straight. I would have grabbed some of those.
And I'm out here to fill up my sandbags. I didn't do it last time, and this time I want to feel better inside my home and hopefully protect some of my stuff. Water got up into our driveway, and I don't want it to happen.
If you are somebody that is in a very vulnerable part of the west coast of Florida that would be susceptible to storm surge, you certainly can leave now. You don't have to wait to get an evacuation order.
Every hurricane looks a little bit different.
You see what I'm saying about DeSantis? When shit get real, he somehow, I got to do the right thing. These motherfuckers, they just be doing all this shit they be doing. They be acting. But you see this motherfucker like, nah, you ain't got to wait for this. Any other time, he'd be joking around. Well, you know, if Kamala and them don't give the federal evacuation, then we're Floridians. We don't have to leave. But that motherfucker like, shit. People started calling like, hell no, man. Y'all didn't give us no evacuation for that first one. Y'all better get this second one right, man. They saying that this one's supposed to, it's the end of the world as we know it. Damn, man. I really do hope everyone is able to get out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully there's no like no lives lost or anything, man. You know, it sucks because there are people without the means of leaving. And then you got not only the people without the means, you got people that there really are people out here that no one even like really talks to. They're by themselves. So unless they went out and talked to somebody, they might just be in the house just thinking it's a regular hurricane. Oh, there's another hurricane. Okay. They just sit around. Or people that don't believe that it's going to be as bad as it is, because there's people out there like that, like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. The last hurricane wasn't like that. But they don't factor that you're doubling up. It's only been a week and a half since the last hurricane. I don't know, man. Hopefully everybody gets up out of here safely, man. I was gonna do a Tubi movie, but we already did 3 hours on this, and we got 30 minutes. I might get back on here probably like 9:30-ish. Let me see. Unless I can find something else interesting about it. Because I'm trying to find some footage of like Tampa Bay, how it's looking right now. Like if there's anybody, let me see if there's like a live walk of Tampa Bay. Live walk. Does Tampa Bay have any websites that have like security footage that you can watch? Oh yeah, you know Florida, they weird out there, so they probably having hurricane parties. There's probably people that aren't going to evacuate, talking about, man, we let's tough it out. Of course, you got content creators now. Somebody's gonna try to stay there and record being inside the hurricane. Footage from the most terrorizing hurricane in 102 years. And you know, people about to be all kinds of dumb shit. So they said in 2017, 6 million people evacuated from Irma. Continue to cite. Let me see what this says. A few days before Milton's expected impact, officials ordered massive evacuations from the state of Florida. Officials believe it will be the largest evacuation since 2017 Hurricane Irma. An estimated 6 million people evacuated the state during Irma. This is what footage looked like in 2017. This is terrible. What is this? 480? Damn, man, we didn't came a long way in 7 years. This footage is terrible. You would think this is the OJ trial. Robert Cam Florida's house. Hotels north of state line. Great. Airlines adjusted flight schedules and made cancellation as both tourists and locals scrambled for ways to fly out. Well, you see, Biden was on top of it this time. Biden said no price gouging. You know, that other guy didn't do that. Just for a comparison, since you guys want to talk political, the other guy didn't stop the airlines from doing price gouging when they were canceling flights and rebooking them. The other guy didn't do that. Just a heads up. The other guy didn't do that. So if you want to be political, just remember the other guy didn't do that. He complained about FEMA now, but he ain't stopped the price gouging of the airlines, because remember, it was a big ordeal about people complaining that they were running the tickets up to $600-700 for flights that were only like $200. Just remember, the other guy didn't do that. The other guy was throwing paper towels in the time of need. He throwing paper towels to goddamn hurricane victims. Just remember that. The other guy didn't do that. I mean, the thing is, we can't have an evacuation for a tornado, though. Like a tornado, like you could just be sitting here and then it could start just, hey, tornado warning. There's no evacuation for that. And you never know with a tornado can move and shift this course easier than a hurricane, because a tornado is just like boom and it just goes. Oh yeah. Yeah, hurricanes, earthquakes, man. When I was in California, like you experience more earthquakes than you think in California. I'd just be sitting at the house when I was living out there, and you just see your microphone go, and it'd be that quick. And it was like, damn, your phone will go off, dude. Earthquake, 22 miles away. Like, damn. Or one day I was in the living room, I was laying on the couch, and it sounded like somebody trying to open the fucking door. I'm like, what the hell? Look down at my phone, it was an earthquake. Yeah, it's just random shit out there. Now, an earthquake you'll get time to evacuate for like a tsunami now, though. Yeah, you see this? This is what went on in 2017. Oh man, come on, USA. We've been doing good all day.
Many people trying to.
This is what was going on in 17 when the other guy was in office. The other guy that wasn't stopping nothing, the motherfucker that complained about everything, well, at least Joe got on here and said, no, we ain't gonna do none of that price gouging. People got to survive. The other guy, guess what? He had interest in these billion-dollar companies. He didn't give a damn if they were price gouging.
Escape Irma's path are having trouble finding a way out. Airlines have canceled more than 1,800 flights in and out of Florida and the Caribbean. American Airlines says it will stop flying to 4 airports in South Florida by Friday afternoon. It has canceled all weekend flights to and from its Miami hub. With all the turmoil, some flyers are complaining the airlines are gouging them. Chris Van Cleve is at the Philadelphia airport, one of the many destinations affected by the disruption. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. For people looking to fly out ahead of Irma, they're finding limited options and in many cases some pretty high prices. Now, the airlines are responding to that, but so are local and national regulators saying they're going to investigate reports of price gouging. $1,328 for a one-way flight from Miami to Hartford, Connecticut. It's a high price for some to escape Hurricane Irma, and people are expressing outrage over ticket prices on social media. On Twitter, this woman said a flight from Miami to Phoenix jumped from over $500 to more than $3,200 when she tried to book on a travel website. She later tweeted, Delta resolved the issue with a, quote, reasonable fare. Another posted a flight search showing fares of more than $1,000 from South Florida to New York. On Wednesday, the backlash prompted some airlines to cap the cost of remaining seats on direct single-leg flights out of Florida. A flight out on American Airlines won't cost more than $99. JetBlue also capped it at $99 or $159 with a connection, and Delta, $399. That is, if you can find an open seat. These people were some of the last out of Key West Airport on Wednesday.
I'm sad because I've been trying to get to Key West for years, but I'd rather be alive than, if it's dangerous, we have to go, but I'm upset about it.
While prices increased as passengers rushed to book flights, airlines say they did not change their fare structure, explaining the cost of a seat increases as flights fill up, and last-minute tickets tend to also cost more.
Fares went up really quickly, and that's where you get the $600, $700, $800 fares that people are complaining about. But at some point, someone maybe somewhere should have said this is going to be a public relations disaster.
Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi says she's making sure the problem gets fixed.
I do not regulate these airlines, but I'm going to protect Floridians. And I have the White House on standby if they're not doing their jobs, but they're doing it.
Bondi says,
Damn, see, y'all remember all that? How soon they forget. How soon they forget. Yeah, they were fucking up back then. That was just 7 years ago. So at least everything you look at, yeah, it was messed up, but it was a learning experience. Now the president automatically knows, hey, it ain't gonna be none of that price gouging or you will be hit with fines. But that also shows you, though, that these airlines, they ain't got to charge those prices that they charge it. You know what I mean? These airlines could be charging $99, just like Southwest used to. I remember Southwest used to have, you could get a trip for $49.99. Now Southwest, they trying to charge you regular prices. Southwest talking about they getting rid of standing in line. Like when you check in, they getting rid of that shit. No, hell no. We're going to do first, second, and third. I said, damn, Southwest, when y'all niggas get bougie? I remember Southwest, y'all was hanging on to survive. In California now, we get an alert about 5 minutes before an earthquake. Yeah, I haven't been in California in a year. I mean, I used to get you'll get like if the earthquake happens, even if you don't feel it, you'll know, you'll get like the alert on it. I don't think I ever got an alert for earthquake before it happened. It always is like when it happened or like right after. But you sure get one for that damn what's it called? The Amber Alert. The Amber Alert, that should come in instantly. You can't cancel that shit. That should take over the whole phone. All right, let me see. I'm still trying to find like a live walkthrough or something of Tampa Bay. I want to see if there's anybody on the ground.
how to store and sort all your photos and
What to bring when evacuating. Oh, yeah, let me see that.
.75 near MLK in Hillsborough County. You can see a steady flow of traffic right there in those northbound lanes. 10 Tampa Bay's Nick Volturo on the road, checking on traffic impacts for you.
Good afternoon. And we saw yesterday.
While Eric and Kendall laughing, who is this guy right here? Where is this? Someone tell me where this guy is standing at right now. Someone tell me where this guy is standing at. Please, anyone in the chat, tell me where he's standing. Is he on the ground or is he in the vehicle? Someone please tell me, where is this gentleman standing at right now, please? I need to know, because there's people in the chat laughing, and this needs to be taken very, very seriously. No, this wasn't pre-recorded. This is at 12:04, which was exactly 2 hours ago. Where is this gentleman standing at? Oh, we got people on the ground. 2 hours ago, we got someone on the ground. Hey, this is serious time here. Take that shit to Modai J's channel. This is serious business here, people. We're trying to figure out what to take on an evacuation. We over here joking around, talking about people ain't on the ground. Come on, man, get focused, Eric. Get focused. This is not high school anymore. All jokes aside, man, get those smiles off your face. This is some serious shit here. I've been following weather on this channel, and we got the big one. Pause.
Good afternoon. And we saw yesterday, we saw that gridlock traffic on I-4, I-75 backed up for hours as people evacuate the Tampa Bay area. We know there are mandatory and voluntary evacuations throughout the area, and county and state leaders have urged people to get out ahead of this storm. We're at the gas station right now. You can see behind me, there is yellow caution tape everywhere. We know gas is scarce. So if you're going to get on the road, you still have time to prepare, but there are some things you want to have with you if you're going to be heading out. One of the most important things, a case of water, right? You want to have 1 gallon of water.
Nigga, what water is this? Nice purifying water. What brand is this? This must be the gas station brand. This must be in a white people neighborhood. I don't know what kind of gas. They got the Grey Goose sign on top of the damn gas thing.
With you if you're going to be heading out. One of the most important things, a case of water, right? You want to have 1 gallon of water per person per day. Make sure you're able to stay.
I know Tampa Bay 10 ain't got a Patagonia shirt, jacket with their insignia on. That is not authorized. He went and got the logo put on his own personal jacket. And unless the company got some money.
Stay hydrated. Another important thing, meals. We don't know how many places are going to be closed. It's a good thing to pack some of these MRE meals. We have this beef pot roast. All you have to do is add water. That'll give you your protein, your sustenance.
If you're going to get MREs, get the chili mac, get the spaghetti. Shit, what else was a good one? Chili mac is the best one, in my opinion. Chili mac spaghetti. Make sure you get the one that has Skittles in it.
And you're ready to go. Also, not a bad idea to keep some snacks handy. You're going to be in the car for a while. You have no idea how long traffic's going to be. You don't want to get off the highway. Make sure you have a bag of snacks so you and the kids can eat. Also, one of the other most important things, have a first aid kit with you, okay? You want to make sure you have one of these in the car. So you have your gauzes, you have your Band-Aids, you have aspirin. That's something that's important just in case you got to get up and go, wind up with a headache, anything that could be crippling in that time. And also, one of the most important things, batteries. Make sure you stock up on batteries. We know with this storm, there could be widespread power outages. Power could be out and people could be in the dark for a while. So you want to make sure you have your flashlights, you have battery power for any of your mobile devices, any of those chargers, anything you need. There's still time to get prepared. So make sure you heed those evacuation notices and get out while you can. Right now, reporting in Pinellas County, Nick Volturo, 10 Tampa Bay.
Dentists hate when you do this, but they can't.
Do they have a vegan option? Kendall, your life is on the line. It ain't no time to be worried about eating correct. You got to survive. You got to get those calories in. I'm sure they do have vegan options, but I'm never hey man, what y'all got? Y'all got a vegan box over there? Hell no. Like when you get MREs, most of the time you don't even get to pick the MRE. When you're there, they just hand them out. You just get whatever one, and then amongst everyone you're with, like in the Air Force, we call it a flight. I think it's like not the battalion. I don't know what the fuck they call it in the Army. But yeah, like amongst your flight, you mix and match. Like, all right, what you got? Okay, shit. Let me get those jalapeno crackers out of yours, and I give you these peanut butter crackers. Then you go over to somebody else. Hey, I got a Snickers bar of mine. Let me get those Skittles off of you. Hey, I got chili back. Let me trade this for that pasta you got. Yeah, you just got to trade around. And then you got a canteen with water. It's probably warm as hell water with backwashing it because that's all the water you have for the day. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can buy MRE. I'm not buying no MREs, but I mean, I used to eat MREs. My dad got some in the attic from, man, I mean, I'll eat it if I had to, but no, fuck that. Would I take MREs during like an evacuation? If it depends. If I gotta travel, let's say I gotta go from like Tampa and I'm like the only safe spot is Atlanta, and then even then I wouldn't take an MRE because in order to eat an MRE, you got to pull over to the side of the road. You got to pull over to the side of the road, fill it up with water, tilt it sideways, let the steam come out. Like you got to actually get out and eat an MRE. You can't make an MRE in the vehicle. You hit a bump, that goddamn hot ass water fall on you, it's over with. You burnt the hell up, man. So nah, I wouldn't take no MREs unless I was just taking the candy and stuff out of it, like the candy and the crackers. But then they do got the little Kool-Aid package. Well, it's not Kool-Aid. It's like a little sugar shit. You can make like a Crystal Light type drink. In the newer ones, I think they do have actual Crystal Light in there. Oh, we got a couple of things. Hold on. We got a live camera. Let me see what's cracking down here. So here's a live camera. Now I don't even know where this was. But there's some rain here. Doesn't look like they in Stewart, Florida. I don't know where the hell that is. So no, Stewart, Florida ain't nothing. Oh, they got this. Here we go. We got some on ground footage.
We want to get you an up close look at Hurricane Milton. This is powerful video coming from hurricane hunters who flew into the storm. It is impressive footage, and it gives you a glimpse at what is headed for this community. Let's watch.
Grab my phone real quick. Yeah. Well, damn. Hit the side. Oh crap. All right.
Yeah, damn is right, followed by nervous laughter. Very powerful video there. Imagine the force of those winds and all that rain hitting a community that's already been weathered by the storm. We actually want to get you a perspective from someone who is going to be not close to Treasure Island, roughly about 2 hours away in Sarasota, but is still concerned about the effects of Hurricane Milton. We have with us Eric Arroyo. He's a Sarasota County Commissioner. Eric, thank you so much for being with us. First and foremost, what is your chief concern about Hurricane Milton as you're hearing that it is flirting with Category 5 winds?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. We are in a state of emergency, and my biggest concern right now is that individuals living in Zone A, B, or C of the city are not going to evacuate. That is my concern, and they need to heed this warning because this is a 100-year storm. This is unprecedented. If you made it through Debbie, if you made it through Ian, this is unlike anything we've ever faced before, and it is heading right through us.
Sir, I wonder what you would say to residents like some of the folks in the building adjacent to where we're standing. These folks, I spoke to them a short while ago. They didn't want to go on camera, but they were weighing the idea of potentially riding out the storm here. What would you say to them at this moment now? We're at about 2 p.m.
He talking about the people next to all of this debris, this torn down building. Are talking about they gonna stay here and ride the storm out. Man, this building barely rode the last storm out. It's got to be an older couple talking about they ain't trying to leave. You even seen this guy shaking his head like, man, look at all of this. The one building is torn all the way down. What do you mean ride the storm out? There ain't no riding the storm out. You're going to be riding in the water out.
A day before the storm is supposed to hit. What's your message to them?
I'll tell them exactly what I told a close family friend who's riding it out in their home in a Zone A, right in the waterfront as this comes. I said, if you're going to ignore all the experts in every single evacuation order, get a Sharpie and write your name on your arm at least so that we can identify your body after.
Now that is a morbid alert at the very least. I do wonder, sir, we've seen piles of trash across Pinellas County, certainly. I know there are other parts of the West Coast, of the Gulf Coast of Florida, that have seen this issue, debris left over from Hurricane Helene. Can you give us an update on the status, what that looks like in Sarasota? You weren't directly hit by Hurricane Helene, but I know that there were problems there because I have relatives in that area.
Yeah, many problems, and there is still some debris. I was checking my email just 2 seconds ago and heard it. Now, here is the problem. Our crew, our team at the city is working around the clock and working with the county, but we have less and less contractors willing to go out into the barrier islands, which are going to be the most impacted, to pick up this debris. So it's only basically government workers now, and at some point, we have to withdraw because we're taking into account the safety of our employees. So as of right now, it's just us. There's virtually no contractors willing to send their workers out into the barrier islands. We've sought the help of as much help as we can. The National Guard has sent us some troops that are going to help and be on standby. But it's a difficult situation with limited resources. Right now, all we can do is hope for the best but prepare for the worst.
I'm telling you, hey, Florida, call your boy up. I can come down here for about 2 months. I'm only going to charge about $65 an hour during cleanup, but I would gladly come down here for 2 months and eat up this. I get down there and do some of the best cleaning you'd have never seen, or should I say the best cleaning you'd have never saw. But now, so for the hurricane names, they switch off. It alternates. It goes male, female, and it used to go from A to Z, but I don't even know where they're at now because they had Helene last week or 2 weeks ago, and now it's Milton. So that means the next one's got to be a girl name. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look up the list of the names too. And NL said there are a lot of folks staying, and I'm not gonna price gouge. NL, come on, I'm not gonna price. I'm not gonna charge them $125 because, first of all, government contracts. When you get government contracts, they never pay the highest. Government contracts always go for the lowest bidder. Now, at me around $65 an hour, oh, that's easy work. That's easy work. That means I'm automatically undercutting everybody, and I'm gonna get my guaranteed contract. Now, I figure if I put in a lease, because I'm gonna be working longer than 40-hour work weeks. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be putting in 12-hour days. So let me see. 65 times 12. $65 times 12 hours a day times 14 days times 2. That's $21,000 a month. You know what I mean? That's fine. I think I can survive off 21,000, but I'm really not here for the money, but I am for the money. You feel me? $65 times 12-hour days times 14 days. Well, technically 10 days, but I'm gonna be working every day of the week, so 2 weeks straight. Yeah, about $21,000. Nah. See, y'all not factoring it in right, man. I'm working 7 days a week, 12 hours. So $65 times 12 hours a day is $780 a day times 14 days straight. That's 2 weeks. That's 10,900. And I do that twice a month. That's $21,840 for a month of work. Now, I stay there for 2 months. Voila, almost $45,000 in 2 months. I'll take that. How much work do you really think you're going to do in 12 hours? Not much. Not much.
Absolutely. And we so appreciate the work that those emergency teams do. And the last thing you would want to do is unnecessarily put them at risk. Eric, I do have one more question before we go, because I've been speaking to people around the community today about the significance of not only having 2 hurricanes hit 2 weeks apart, but the way that Milton transformed. You had a hurricane, it wasn't even a hurricane, it was a tropical storm at one point, and then 24 hours later, in the warm waters of the Gulf, transforms into one of the top 10 most powerful hurricanes we've ever seen in the Atlantic. Does this sort of thing raise concerns for you about climate change and whether we're going to see more storms intensify this way in the future?
Well, we've been speaking to the experts, and what they tell us is that it's because of the warm water that creates the climate that creates these rapidly intensifying hurricanes. And you've heard of El Nino. What we have right now in the Gulf of Mexico is La Nina. It's the inverse of that, but it is warm waters that create this environment. And we're monitoring it. We're seeing what we can do. We don't have all the answers, but it's definitely something that's becoming more and more alarming, especially in a retirement state like Florida, a tourist state like Florida, and a place that many call home.
Now, here's the official list of all the names of the hurricanes for this year. Wait a minute. All right, so we got Alberto, Burl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon. So we just had Helena. We got Milton. And I think Leslie was the one that missed land. Let me see. Hurricane Leslie. So Leslie was in 2012, 18, and 24, but it was only a category 1. And then we got Milton on the way. Helena was the one 2 weeks ago, September 24. So Helena was a 4 in 1958, 1988, tropical storm in 2000, category 3 in 2006, tropical storm in 12, category 2 in 18. And then, of course, we got now was a 4. Let's see what Milton was last time. Damn. Okay. Convoy of Hope got all of it laid out. I might need to go on here and just read out all the different hurricanes that dropped. Uh, that's Michael. We don't want Michael's hurricane. We want Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, it is certainly alarming for the future. Eric Arroyo, we have to leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for joining us, and please keep us posted if there's anything we can do to get a message out for you. Thanks so much.
Carlos Suarez is striking Milton, joins us now from Fort Myers in Florida. And Carlos, just give us a sense of what you are seeing and how people there are preparing this evening.
Well, Issa, the folks that live in Southwest Florida and to the north of where we are very much getting prepared for Hurricane Milton as it continues.
Hey, would you look at this, y'all? 2:02 p.m. 2:02 p.m. was what, an hour ago? We do got people on the ground here. Ain't that something? We got people evacuating, but we got people on the ground here. Ain't that something?
To make its way north. Here in Fort Myers, business after business after business has put up plywood. They have sandbags out, all in anticipation of what we expect to be some significant flooding. This one business here behind me has just started in the last couple of minutes inflating a water dam. What they're doing, what you're taking a look at right there, is an inflatable dam. They're filling it with water, all in an effort to try to keep some of the flooding out of this business. I'll tell you, though, not really sure how much this is going to work, considering.
Yeah, they said these surges are going to be 10 to 15 feet. So if we fill it up with water to this big, and then the wave will come and crash into it and bounce back. I'm thinking if this is the building, this right here is where they're pumping up with the water. This is what the surge is going to look like. So I don't know if the surge is going to go like straight across, or is it going to go down and hit right here? Maybe they put more water in there. How much water can we put in there? Can we fill it like they might as well like get a bouncy house and put like a bouncy house around it. I'm trying to I'm trying to be for real, man. I'm trying to be for real. OT said something, but like, what are the odds of water being stopped by that? I mean, I want you guys' opinion because I've never been in a hurricane, so I wouldn't know. Because they're putting up a barrier. Oh, see, okay. We were looking at this small section over here. Okay. So yeah, this water right here, that's enough to stop the flood. That right there is good. This is big enough right here, boss. We're good. As my brother, he has. Hey, man, my brother's in the hotel. I don't know if he was out there in the streets. They know they're gonna stop the flood.
Inflating a water dam. What they're doing, what you're taking a look at right there, is an inflatable dam. They're filling it with water, all in an effort to try to keep some of the flooding out of this business. I'll tell you, though, not really sure how much this is going to work, considering that the storm surge that is being forecasted for this part of Southwest Florida is anywhere between 6 to 10 feet. And so if that does...
Oh, so 6 to 10. They're gonna have to pump water. They're gonna put more water in here, y'all. We got to get this up to at least, shit. We're gonna have to get this up to 10 feet. I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. The news reporter said it. He said this probably ain't gonna work. I was just looking at it and I was trying to figure out also if it's roughly in Tampa directly. They said 10 to 15 feet. They said this down here is gonna be 6 to 10. Maybe they further into the land. Let me try to see what's this store called. What is this? Fugue Tabo. Opening October 2024. Damn, man, they're supposed to have the grand opening. They about to. I'm trying to find where we need to find where this is at.
Materialize, that water is going to be well above that inflatable dam here behind me. Part of why this part of Fort Myers is a part of an evacuation zone is because there is
oh, it's an evacuation zone. Oh, hey, take pictures of the building. Get pictures on the outside. Get pictures of everything that you have on the inside. This is an evacuation zone. Y'all might as well not even waste your time on this. Y'all need to be going to your house. Put the cardboard up on the walls. That's pretty much all we're gonna be able to do. Get with whatever goods you can to take on the road. But yeah, if this is in the evacuation zone, this flood thing ain't gonna work. They talking 6 to 10 feet. The best we could do is board up the windows. Maybe it doesn't flood as much on the inside, but yeah, it's over with. You just need to cut your losses on this one. I know it sucks, but your life is way more important than wasting hours trying to put this together. Like, where are they getting the water from? Did they go to the fire department? Hey, open up a hydrant? Like, man, fuck that.
a rather sizable, a major river about a block and a half from where we...
Oh, man, there's a river a block and a half away. Yeah, man, I understand it. You're trying to preserve what you got, but this ain't gonna work, man. I know it's like you got your pride and your hope, and you wish for the best, but man, you need to take this time and like make sure you get your family safe. At this point, like this isn't going to be enough.
It's called the Caloosahatchee River.
Caloosahatchee River. Let me see where that is. Caloosahatchee River. Caloosahatchee River. Where the hell is the Caloosahatchee? Oh, okay. So this is the Caloosahatchee River, but I'm assuming that they're down here somewhere. Oh, and there's heck no, it's water all through here. I did not know Fort Myers is like. Oh man, no man, y'all need to go home, get your stuff, and just get out of here. It's water all through here, man. This water is going to be at least 4 to 5 feet. See, this is the messed up part, though. Seriously, though.
Goes out into the Gulf of Mexico, and it also goes into Lake Okeechobee, which is in the central part of Florida. What's going to happen, what the forecast is calling for, is that as the storm continues to make its way north and makes landfall as it stands right now, just to the north of us, we are still going to see all of that storm surge. We're still going to see all of that rainfall, anywhere between 6 to 8 inches over a 24-hour period. And then when you add in high tide, the fear is that that river, the Caloosahatchee, is going to overflow. It is going to crest. And so it is going to have to end up going somewhere. And that somewhere is where we are standing. This area has known to flood. 2 years ago, Hurricane Ian just pretty much destroyed a good part of Lee County and flooded a great deal of Fort Myers, where we are. And a large part of the damage was the flooding brought on by the Caloosahatchee River. And so these folks are taking the storm serious. They're trying to do everything they can to try to keep some of this water out. But I've got to tell you, if these storm surge predictions hold, I'm not entirely sure that that inflatable dam is going to do much in keeping the water out of that business.
That is incredibly scary picture that you've just painted for us, Carlos. And of course, important context for our viewers, because for so many of these people, of course, they only just started, right, picking up the pieces after Hurricane Helene, which also packed a punch these communities. So give us a sense, are people heeding the call, and how easy is it, Carlos, for people to get out of Tampa?
Well, so, I mean, as you noted, I was in Tampa a week ago. We were doing a story on the damage from Hurricane Helene up there, and the debris there's just not enough time has passed for officials and cities to clear that debris. And so the concern going into this storm is all of a sudden that stuff becomes like missiles. It becomes, projectiles. And the last thing you want are pieces of furniture and cabinetry and water tanks, being thrown around in 100 and 125 mile per hour winds. As for whether or not folks are getting out, I can tell you, having crossed over from South Florida last night, people are hitting the roads. They are trying to get over to South Florida on the eastern side of Florida. If they live north of where we are, they're trying to get more inland into the Orlando area. And then if they're not going to the Orlando area, they're just trying to get farther north from where they live in the Tampa Bay area. Because as you noted, the forecast track, if that holds, we're looking at a very powerful storm that's going to hit the Tampa Bay area over the next couple of days.
Yeah, very concerning indeed for everyone. Carlos Suarez, appreciated. Thank you very much, Carlos.
This is the reason why I've canceled my doorbell camera subscription.
Hey, we don't give a damn why you canceled your subscription. Damn. Florida's got to deal with alligators in the water on the regular. Oh, man. You throw me in the swamp, I bet I come out with a gator. You know what I mean? I come out with 2 size 11 pair of gators on. You throw me in a swamp, boy, I headlock a gator. That's one thing I am an expert at. When it comes to like alligators, now this freshwater alligators, I can't wrestle no saltwater crocodile. Now you put me in the ring with like a 8-foot alligator. Oh yeah, best believe I'm whooping the alligator's ass. Facts. I wrestled 3 alligators in my life, and my record is 3-0. So if you ever come across an alligator and you need someone to get it out of there, and the police are taking too long, pest control taking too long, call me up. 1-800, go get the bag. And I'm getting rid of all alligators on site. But shit, man, we gonna be eating some gator soup. I don't know who that had some gator soup before, but best believe, fuck around with me, we're gonna be eating gator soup by then.
This brand.
But we got 3 hours in tonight. Well, shit, almost 4 hours in. We're gonna keep watch on this. This hurricane did pique my interest last week. I was like, wait a minute. They just had a hurricane. I put it in the chat, and I didn't know if people were really interested in it, but now I see the whole world is paying attention to Hurricane Milton. It just was something in my spirit. I was like, man, Mo, you need to do a live on Hurricane Milton. And sure enough, This is about to be once in a lifetime. They said it's been 102 years since a storm of this category has reached Tampa Bay. Hopefully it doesn't hit them directly. Hopefully as many people as possible can get out of there. I was joking around with these people here, but in all seriousness, I mean, Fort Myers is surrounded by water, and if you're down here, man, it's just gonna flood, man. Like, look at this city, man. This is like Grand Theft Auto. Like, look at all this water in here. Like, wait, do they live like this? They backyard is lakes? What kind of... I was gonna say they gotta have a way for water to move around. You don't want that stagnant water. Oh, this is kind of dope though. Like, imagine you lived out here, a little cul-de-sac. I'm not the cul-de-sac, we got the little roundabout. You could swim across to your neighbor's house, 602 to 517. Yeah, forget this. This don't look like anywhere I'd want to live. Hey, man, don't play around with weather. Mother Nature ain't playing around with you. Mother Nature has a route to take, and that's what Mother Nature's going to do. So, man, y'all be safe if you're down in Florida. If you know someone in Florida, make sure that they're evacuating. They're saying it should hit land Wednesday evening and going into Thursday morning. Hopefully it does downgrade. We're witnessing history, man. Global warning. Cause I'm just looking, man. If this hurricane hits Tampa straight on, all of this is gone here. This whole coast is about to be underwater. And then if it's 10 to 15 foot surges, if it comes across this clear water, it's going all the way across this peninsula. It's going all the way across that if it makes it up there. But some of the models have it going like down through here. So, I mean, that'll push it up through the bay. But oh, man. Yeah. Hitting at night, it's about to be pitch black. All you're going to hear is whoo. Shit going to be hitting walls and stuff. They're saying that this is going to bring a lot of wind, not as much water, though. We're going to see, man. 2 days. Man, let me see what the weather is. Okay, shoot. Say Friday, cloudy, only 7%, 17% rain Saturday. So the football game probably won't be in that much rain. All right, so my London trip will be all right. But then that next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is when we catch the tail end of the hurricane. Cool. So 50 degrees, 55 degrees, gonna be kind of chilly. Jeez Louise. Yeah, so remember this weekend I'm gonna be in London. Thursday night, I'm gonna try to do a live when I get up there. We'll see. I'll probably do a Tubi movie from the hotel room because I ain't got shit going on Thursday night. Unless, you know what I'm saying, a lucky lady contacts me in time and we go out and have a couple of drinks and paint the town red. But if not, I'll be in the crib sleeping. Friday morning, get up. I gotta go see some things. They want me to get on the double-decker bus. They want me to go to Stonehenge, which I probably ain't gonna make. They want me to go to the Wax Museum. I can probably do the Wax Museum. Big Ben, the London Eye. Those are right next to each other. I might go to Buckingham Palace. It's been a while since I've been there. Oh, and the new money should be out. The new money. King Pounds UK. I got to get the banknotes featuring King Charles were issued on June 5th. So I got to collect all the new bills, the 5, the 10, and well, I'm not going to get a 50. Well, I might do a 50. I might bring back a 50. But I got to get the new 5, the new 10, the new 20 for sure. All right, bet. So that's what I got. I got to make sure I get the new currency.
Our new notes featuring King Charles III are now in circulation. The King.
I'm gonna get the 5 because I got the Queen 5. I'm gonna probably do the 5, the dub, and the 50. So 75 pounds, about $100. Let me see. Where's that? Great Britain. Not the euro. Oh boy. Euro. Damn, where the hell they got the pound? I don't even got a quid. Is it England? What the hell they got it on up under here? Peso. Well, they ain't got the pound on here. Ain't that something? What the hell? The Brazilian real. I'll just look it up on my phone. These foods. I don't even know what they got it listed on there. It should be up under the damn British pound. Egyptian pound. Lebanese pound. I know that ain't worth a damn. Dollar. Oh, here we go. Currency. Here we go. Great British pound. Let me reverse that. We'll see what 75 pounds is. $100. So I'm gonna get the 5, the 20, and the 50. Yeah, I'm gonna do the 5, the 20, and the 50. That's $100. And I'll bring those back. Gotta get those for the. Yeah, so I'll probably do Buckingham Palace. Because Big Ben and the London Eye are right next to each other. So there's Big Ben. You get off the train station right here, the underground right here. That's the underground. Then you got Big Ben right here, and then right around the corner, you got the London Eye. So I can knock out both of those. Then Buckingham Palace, I gotta probably take an Uber. I gotta go down that way, go see the London Bridge again. Probably go over there and chill, give me some drinky drink. I gotta get some of that drinky drink when I get into town. You know what I mean? So we'll go to London, the London Eye, Big Ben, maybe Buckingham Palace. I do want to go to a museum. I think they got a Van Gogh exhibit down there, or I might go to the Wax Museum, but I don't really know if I want to go there. Maybe the Harry Potter Museum, even though I don't know shit about Harry Potter. You know what I mean? Oh man, thanks, y'all. Thanks, man. We got 500 over here. Cool, man. Y'all done logged in on your other channels, man. That means whenever y'all watch me, y'all gotta watch off of both channels. If you subscribed on multiple channels, that means when you watch me, you gotta watch off both channels. You gotta watch off both channels so we can make sure that stays legitimate. Legitimize the business around here. All right, we got 500. Now I gotta run. I think I'm at like 3,800 hours. So I'm gonna have to watch like some watch a documentary or something over here. Cool. So all right, I'm gonna try to do that. Double-decker bus for sure. I can do that. Being in the London Eye. I would go up the Shard, but I got shit to do, man. I ain't going up the Shard again unless I got a lady with me. Buckingham Palace, I can ride through there and chunk up the deuce. Man, I'll knock those out and then I'll figure out something from there. Piccadilly Theater. Man, I'd be over in Piccadilly. Matter of fact, damn, what's that place called? Is it Piccadilly Circle? I think it's Piccadilly Circle. Piccadilly Circus. That's matter of fact, that's over where man, I'm gonna show y'all my stomping grounds. Yeah, last time I was here, I was what did I walk over here for? Well, I took a cab. The W. Now to all my brothers out here. Yeah, over in Piccadilly, let me show you something. They got the M&M store here. They got the Harry Potter museum over around the corner. If y'all go to London, right here, this is where you want to go. If you want to see some of the most beautiful women that got shit going on, go to the W and go upstairs to the bar. Let me tell you, the bar in the W here, ooh-wee. It's nice how they got it set up. Like when you go upstairs, the lights are dim. The bar is off in the back, but then they got like all these little seats and stuff. It's kind of like a little lounge area. Oh my goodness, man. You got to be a little fly when you go in there. Don't go into the W with some bullshit on. You're grown and sexy when you get up in there. Now you go here to pregame. You go here about like 9:30ish to about like 11. Oh my goodness. I'm talking about sweet lady. How would you be my sweet love for this weekend? I'm leaving. Don't you call me. Don't you add me on IG. No. I'm leaving. Go to the W. Let me tell you, the first time I went to the W was in 2015. I said, oh, Lord, what we got in here? I'm walking around that motherfucker. Matter of fact, let me show you. I'm going to show you what I wore to the W that night. Let me see. Do I got it on? Let me show you. You got it. This is old, man. This, like, what I'm wearing here is dated, but let me see. That's what I was wearing to the W. That's what you wear to the W right there. Fellas, you gotta get cleaned up. You know, you see me in this bum attire Monday through Friday. But when you go up there, you gotta clean up a little bit. You know what I mean? You gotta clean up a little bit. You know what I mean? You clean up a little bit when you go to the W. Yeah, just clean up a little bit when you go to the W. And this was in 2018. This is my last time going. But yeah, the W right here. Yeah, check that on out when you go. All right, and then so you got the M&M store right here. Over on this street down here, I got a homeboy that used to work at one of these things. He's a promoter. So you go over there, he give you like the wristbands to like any of the clubs you want to go to. But then on this street, how can I get down there? It's the Harry Potter Museum. Did I pass it? Let me see if we can just cut through here then. Is it the Harry Potter or is the haunted house? Because you got the Lego building. I think. Is it the Harry Potter over here? Then I can't even find the main street. I done got lost off in the Piccadilly Circus. Anyway. I'm about to be back, man. I'm about to be back tomorrow. Well, today is actually, hold on. Today might be, give me a second. Today might be a good day also. Let's see. So I've officially been here for 1 year. I got here Friday the 6th because I started working on the 10th last year. So Friday will be, no, not Friday. Thursday will be 1 year of me working in Germany. The 6th was 1 year of me living in Germany. So I've been here in 1 year. So this is what my celebration was. I'm going to go to London. I'm going to go to the football game. So that's my 1 year anniversary this weekend. Yep. My 1 year anniversary of living in Germany, man. That time went by fast as hell. Went by fast as hell. Oh, man. What next, Mo? What next? We going to Morocco next year. We going to Egypt next year, too. We're going to go on a little African tour. And maybe at the end of the year, we might be going to Ghana. Don't count me out. We might be going to Ghana the end of December because they have a nice little time. So we might be in Ghana for New Year's. New Year's is on a Monday. So Sunday, Monday, I can take off Friday, leave Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, come back on a Tuesday. And they said, "Let me get you an ascot." No. I'm only wearing ties if it's somewhere formal. If not, I ain't putting on no tie. I'll wear a tie every now and then, but nah, man, I ain't wearing no tie unless it's somewhere where a tie is needed. It's a black tie event. Don't end up in a blink twice, man. I ain't no woman. Niggas ain't doing nothing to me. These ain't doing nothing to me. I'm a survivor. I done been through worse. I done did jail time over here. It's gonna take more than a little bit of liquor to throw me off my game. But no, we got 4 hours in. All seriousness, if you're in Florida, please be safe. Evacuate. If you know someone down there, let them know. I appreciate you guys for helping me get to 500 subscribers on this channel. I'm gonna celebrate my 1 year. And I promise you guys, I'm going to get better. I'm going to put all these videos together because I got a lot of footage of shit that I just ain't did nothing with, man. So I do need to get all that together, put out. I do got a break, so that means I will have more free time, and I'll be able to do that. Ain't plugged up. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm Modi J. This is the Mo You Know.
Thank you.